patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pasco, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
Well, England romped the first one, India cantered the second. Now we're back behind closed doors. Who's going to rise to the non-occasion? Did someone say this pitch is going to spin and we might see Moeen Ali? We'll find out in a moment. Good morning, good afternoon, good dawn, good dusk, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Gorilla Cricket. I'm Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson, and it's International T20 number 3 from, yes, Ahmedabad again. With me for team and toss news and to discuss various things before they enter the pitch. I have an experienced team, a few miles on the clock, it has to be said. I have Nestle Boy.
Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good dawn, good dusk, in fact. And alongside him with equally a number of miles on the clock, it is everyone's hairy friend. It's Tony Bishop.
Well, hello. Everyone's hairy friend. Oh, I quite like that thought.
Yeah, well, I've shaved off my beard yesterday. I don't know whether you have. Have you still got your beard? Yes, you have still got your beard, haven't you? Yes,
it's there.
Yours is fully grey. You see, I don't like the fact that mine still has little bits of brown in it, and it looks horrible.
Miles on the clock. Got my mileage, Hendo.
You got, what is your mileage, by the way?
60. I mean, I never know if it's 61 or 62.
Oh God, yes.
62
It's hard to remember, actually, isn't it, when you get to our age? Anyway, the news is I teased you with the notion of Moeen Ali being involved because this pitch is going to spin, but he's not. He's not involved. England make just the one change. Mark Wood, who had a sore heel, bless him, after bowling 4 overs in the first T20. Sore heel. He's never fit, is he, Mark Wood? But he's back. He's back today, and presumably he'll be off with another sore heel on Thursday. So the England lineup is Roy, Butler, Malan, Johnny Bairstow, Owen Morgan, Ben Stokes, Sam Curran, Jofra Archer, Chris Jordan, Adil Rashid and Mark Wood. So the man giving way to Mark Wood is Tom Curran, and that's really kind of where England lost the game the other day was when Tom Curran and Chris Jordan came on. Although there was that chance down the leg side that Butler spilled. India go in. Rohit Sharma is back. That's all we need. Rohit Sharma to thrash us to all parts of the Ahmedabad Stadium. He will be opening with KL Rahul. He retains his place despite two rather poor opening efforts. Ishan Kishan, the hero from Sunday, comes in at 3. Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant, Shreyas Iyer, Hardik Pandya, Washington Sundar, Shardul Thakur, Bhuvi Kumar and Yuzvendra Chahal. Those are the teams. And England have won the toss and have put India into bat. Who would have thunk it? It's absolutely true. How do we see it going today, Tony? Quick, you've got to be quick because they're out there.
I think India will shade it. I think it'll be closer, certainly, than the last one.
Okay. Leslie, any thoughts?
I'm surprised, given its red pitch, that we
yes.
haven't got mowing playing. What's
Well,
going
there
on?
you go.
Me too.
Yeah, we're talking about the red pitch. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's black. We don't really know what's going to happen out there. Anyway, let's see what goes on as we jingle up the two India batsmen. I can hear nothing. Can anyone hear anything?
Oh, not a thing.
Not a thing. Always silent. Here we go.
264.
Did we do both there, Bear? I didn't hear anything. The Bear is no. Here we go. First ball of the match, and Rohit Sharma leans forward and plays this out into the offside, and there is no run. The opening bowler for England, as it was in the first T20, not in the second, it's Adil Rashid. Have we got time for him? Got a bit of time? Maybe. Was that the man who goes away? It's always good to have him along. We've got a ring of 4 on the offside. It's a sort of staggered ring. No, they're not on exactly the same circumference, is that right? Oh, now it's the googly from Rashid. It's tucked away with the spin by Rohit Sharma. It's being chased after by Mark Wood from on the 45, and they've got back for a couple. India up and running, 2 for no wicket. Let's jingle the man up. The Bear's on the phone to someone seemingly, so maybe we're not going to have a jingle for the time being. I'll hang on for giving Adil Rashid his big moment, because I'm sure that's
I could sing it to you, but I'm sure that would lose us too many listeners.
yeah, and we've hardly got anyone anyway. Rashid then in again. Slippy is waiting. Oh, he's pulled that one down. And had he been in a bit longer, he might have done more with that. As it is, he's played it more or less to the same position that Wood chased it a moment ago. And he's got back for another 2. India move to 4 for no wicket. So Adil Rashid just struggling with his length and a little bit with his line at the moment. I felt that it was a good experiment that they used in the first T20 when Rashid and Archer opened the bowling, and then they went back to Curran. Although Curran got a wicket in his first over, it was a bit of a struggle. By the time Adil Rashid came on, the game I felt was
he's a wicket maiden. You can't do much better in a T20 than a wicket maiden.
That's true. Another googly, which I'm not sure Rohit Sharma completely read. He jabs down on it at the last minute. That's better from Adil Rashid. We will come to your tweets very shortly at the end of this over. In fact, Nestle will probably be lining them up. And hopefully hundreds, in fact, maybe millions of you are out there ready to talk to us, which will be quite difficult. Well, yes, indeed. This one is thrown up a little bit on the leg side. Has that come off pad? I think it has. Wood is in the action again, but this time he has to swoop in and field. They go to 5. It was a leg by. And, first extra of the innings. 5 for no wicket. Rahul.
1-0 so far.
1-0. Well, we know he's a very destructive batsman at the top of the order. We've seen it in the IPL enough, and I'm sure he will come good. So I think it's good that India have kept faith with him. I mean, 2 failures in 2 T20s. Well, that can happen to anyone. Anyway, he's stretching out his guard. It looks like a very, very solid, firm pitch. And we look around at the empty basin that is the Modi Dome today, as COVID cases have gone up in the area apparently in Gujarat. In he comes, bowls, very full delivery, which Rahul has a look at, just steers to mid-wicket, and that is the end of the first over. Rohit has 4, Rahul yet to score, India 5 for no wicket. Nestlers.
Well, Warren, as usual, has joined us on Hot Mic and says, big question, who won the toss?
That will be England.
Indeed. Farong's also on Hot Mic. We have 3 commencing commentary tonight. Greetings from Dakar. He also says that Rashid will need to stay off the leg stump to the lefties. That was his error on Sunday. Both teams have had an off game already. Bring it on.
Tell him Bournemouth need to win tonight from me.
Okay. Well, you've just told him. Mezzy Jed says, you're all looking extremely serious. Lighten up, fellas. This is Bish Bosh Bash, remember?
Yep.
And Ian Barker from Kansas City, the lovely Tess perversely wearing a Chennai Super Kings shirt, a nod to wee Sammy Curran.
Indeed, wee Sammy Curran. We love him. We love him so much. He's beautifully blonde these days.
Ooh.
It's going to be Joff Archer. Bear, have we got any jingles yet, or are you still on the phone? He's nodding, but I'm not sure what that means.
He's trying to shake off his hangover from yesterday.
He's saying yes, here comes a jingle.
Break your heart, hotter than lava, cooler than Bogart, in your face, at your stumps, on your toes, on your mum. Joffre,
He's used to been around for a long time, Joff Archer. He's only played 10 T20 internationals, played an awful lot of domestic IPL especially cricket at T20 level. He's going to be bowling to Rohit Sharma. He had him in a little bit of trouble in that first test match in Chennai, if you remember. Here he is in bowls. Oh, and he's got him! No, he's put him down! He's put him down with a big in-swinger, which he played a little bit early, and gave him quite an acceptable return catch, which seemed to surprise Archer, and it went right through him, and that is a massive miss with your first ball, getting rid of someone as dangerous as Rohit Sharma. And
just a gentle dolly drop back to him, wasn't it? Just went through his fingers.
Yeah, he just wasn't expecting it, was he? At all. Well, you should expect it if you bowl a good ball like that, which swung in and was perhaps a little bit slower than Rohit Sharma expected. But he escaped. He's in again outside the off stump, and this time left alone.
I always think they're the hardest of catches, though, because your body is going down, isn't it? And then you're coming back up. You know, you're in that movement of bowling. It's not like you're standing there like this.
Well, he probably thought it was coming back quicker than it was, and so you react. You start to react, and then your body says, "Oh my goodness, that's not actually coming." But by then it's almost too late to readjust. So that's an extraordinary miss with Rohit on 4, and that was Archer's first ball. He can't believe it. He stood there with his hands on his knees, bending down. He may know just how important that kind of wicket is. He's in again, bowls, and he goes after this outside the off stump without really moving his feet, and is beaten by that. Through it goes to Butler, and there is no run. The GPL presumably is open, Bear. Remind me what time that can go on till. I know we've changed
2:15, I think it is, isn't it?
No, I've got to go until 2:20. So 50 minutes you get.
50 minutes. Wow, that's generous.
Pot is, well, it gives people more of a chance. You give them 4 overs in a T20. It could be anything, couldn't it? So it's more an incentive to open your account with the GPL. And the pot is not starting at £98 today.
£98 into Rohit, who manoeuvres this down to third man. A hint of away movement. Played that quite nicely. They'll take the single, 6 for no wicket. The GPL, go to guerrillacricket.com/competitions. Sign up if you haven't already done so. If you have, you'll know what to do. Every guess that you have is worth £1 to us. You give it £1, and if you get it on the nose at the end of the day, you get whatever's in the pot. 98 quid at the moment. Of course, the more of you that pile in now or in the next 45 minutes or so, the bigger the pot grows before your very eyes. Extraordinary stuff. Anyway, Archer's going to bowl to Rahul for the first time. Has he got a leg gully in there, or is that a man on the 45? Now that rises as it beats him outside the off stump. Lovely, gorgeous, luscious delivery from Archer, and really Rahul had no idea. That was his quickest ball so far, 145 Ks. Dragged his fingers down. It seemed to gather pace off the pitches. The best bowlers seem to do. That was a lovely ball from Archer.
Warren wants to know if Mark Wood's been reshod.
Probably
has.
It was a heel issue he had, so it's definitely a foot problem.
Indeed. Well, they brought a second slip in after that, and they're taking one man out of the covers. Let's see what happens here. Archer in bowls, and Rahul gets forward to a good length delivery and can do nothing more than defend. And that is the end of a very good over. Should have brought a wicket, but hasn't. India, after 2, are 6 for no wicket.
O'Neill Harris has joined us. He says, hello, Grillers. Thanks again for the brilliant commentary. Well, hang on. I've only just started, so it may not be. Jersey Oak says, whatever happened to those shiny glued wickets? Did they get banned? And Farong is telling you, Bish, that we need to turn it round. Only the shaggers tonight. Easy game for the Hornets.
A big old, what's the word I'm looking for? Banana skin for the Hornets is tonight.
Jersey Oak says, that's it, Archer's dropped the match. And Ian Barker has put up his GPL entries. Oh, there's 2 3s in there. Jez won't be happy
Messi,
with that.
get on it quickly. No, come on, Messi. That's a challenge to you.
Suman Nag is saying, not live today?
We are live today.
We are very much live.
I think we are. I'm just going to pinch myself.
I was about to say, I pinched myself and it hurt.
I am alive.
I'm hoping I'm alive.
Change of bowling. Adil Rashid out of the attack after 1 over, and Mark Wood, reclad as he is, bowls to Rohit Sharma. It's a full ball angling in towards his middle and leg stumps. He clips it nicely, but straight to mid-on. There is no run. Have you got a jingle for me, Bear? If I can find it.
Do you know Mark Wood? Yes, he is an England bowler, quite good and pretty quick. So just a normal guy. Of course. Except for just one thing. What? He thinks that he's a horse. Right. What?
Mark Wood in to bowl again, and he's lofted this, but didn't really get it. Dragged it away down to deep backward square. Did Rohit. That wasn't him in full control of that one, and they'll get another single. India move to 7 for no wicket. Now Mark Wood will be running in, but his mind will be on tonight's crucial 6-pointer at the bottom of League One between AFC Wimbledon and Wigan Athletic. That's the important one. That's the big one. Sod your Hornets, sod your Shaggers. It's a massive game at Plough Lane tonight.
Yeah, but North London is red again. Just on Suman Nag's point about not being live, Suman, do you look? I can't see our own Facebook page, by the way.
I couldn't find that. Got to be honest.
No, Cricket Tracker India's up on Facebook, but Gorilla Cricket on Facebook doesn't appear to be there. So
Wood in again, beautiful delivery, and Rahul can't believe it. He's gone for another great big round one. He's gone for a duck. He's been bowled neck and crop, as they say. And Mark Wood has a wicket.
So get on your bike and take a hike right out of here.
That swung a little bit, just shaped in, but there's a sizable gap between bat and pad, wasn't there, Hendo?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to move it that much when you've got that sort of pace. And he was looking to steer it into the onside, a little bit across the line, I suppose. But a very good ball, I think, from Mark Wood. And
everything.
Splayed wicket.
So Rahul now has scores of 1-0 and 0. That may be the last we see of a T20 opener for a little while. I think they were right to stick with him for this game, but now 3 in a row. It's not looking too good for him. Shikhar Dhawan waiting in the wings, amongst others. Any more tweets?
Oh yeah, Missy Jess says, how dare you, to Ian Barker, the 3s are mine on the GPL.
Well, there you go.
And Gudu Yadav, Ramesh Kumar, MD Suman, Sudesh, Krishnan, Runik Pandey have all joined us on Cricket Tracker India. Hello folks.
Hello, nice to have you along.
And Anthony Bush is with us on YouTube.
Excellent. Ishan Kishan has come to the wicket. I'm told that you can't rhyme him. He's got to be Ishan Kishan. He's just scratching out his mark. He's got a jingle that goes a bit like... the Bear's looking for it. He's now found it. He's giving me the thumbs up. Here we go.
Well, it's time for Ish and Kish and Cousins.
Headline writer's dream when he makes runs.
Kishan sink. There we go. He's going to throw the Kishan sink at it. He's in. Bowls, and he hurries him, does Mark Wood there, as he goes onto the back foot. He won't have faced pace like this too often in T20s. And I like the look of Mark Wood up the top of the England.
They missed him.
bowling
They
attack.
missed him badly last time.
Oh, they did. I mean, Jordan and Curran were dreadful. It has to be said. Tom Curran, that is, not Sam Curran. I wonder about Tom Curran's position in this side, because does tend, although he's got all these variations, he does tend to be quite expensive. Goes at about 9.5.
He's been expensive in the IPL. He's not had
Yes,
a
he
great
has.
time there. And in fact, in the last couple of years for England, he's been quite expensive as well.
I think he may have been worked out a little bit. In comes Wood, bowls. Again, it's rising on Ishan Kishan, who is quite low down in his stance. Has to rise to play that one and control it to backward point. And again, there is no run.
You can't afford to be expensive in a T20.
Well, this is true. This is true. Never have wiser words been spoken. Masters.
Age of Epping.
Oh, he is. He's an absolute sage. That's probably what he has with his peacock, isn't it? Peacock and a bit of
Peacock
sage on
and
the side.
sage.
Peacock
Absolute-
and sage. Lovely. Fantastic soup.
Beautiful.
There is no peacock.
I know, but I like to pretend
There is no pea in cock.
Oh, indeed. In comes Wood. He's got two slips now. He bowls to Ishan Kishan, who just steers this off his hip a little bit more comfortably this time. Will take a run as Adil Rashid comes off the 45 to do the fielding. And at the end of the third over, it's another really good start from England. India are 8 for 1. Nestlers.
Yeah, Anthony Bush says, afternoon, handsome gorillas. Let's hope this one goes to the final over this time. Well,
Well, we have got the bear, so we can't guarantee that.
That's a lot of hope. And O'Neill Harris agrees with me. North London is red. Get in there, O'Neill. We know what we're on about. Leia says Rahul's landscaper is already calculating what he'll charge for expanding the pond, so all those ducks have enough room in there.
Very good.
And Warren says Kishan flips.
Oh, good. I like that.
I
Yes,
like.
very clever.
Yeah,
very
very
clever.
good.
Yes, very, very good. So Rowett has 6. Rahul gone for a duck from his 4 balls. Kishan is onto a single after 3. Still got Kohli, Shreyas, Pant, Hardik and others to come. A really strong India batting lineup. Archer will continue from the Adani end. He's still got 2 slips, so just 3 in the offside. A man on the 45 and at mid-on. Man back at deep square leg, I would suggest. He bowls to Ishan Kishan. And it's full on leg stump, and he turns it up to mid-on. There is no run. Now, I've noticed about Archer. He started it against Rishabh Pant in the first T20. His line is around about leg stump, totally cramping the left-hander for room. And he seems to have started that way against Ishan Kishan. I think this is a plan that England have worked out, maybe in the hours that they've spent in isolation looking at videos. In comes Archer again, once more cramping in for room. They think there's going to be a single. There's all sorts of trouble. Archer finally gets the ball. People were getting in each other's way, but in the end, Rowett has managed to get down the other end, and it was all sorts of comings and goings there from the Indian batsman. Archer didn't seem to quite know which end he was going to throw at in the end, and they've got away with it.
Well, he was also conscious of, I think he's sensed the presence of the backing up batsman as well.
Yes, I think you're right.
He was kind of thrown into more than one mind as a result of it.
He's in again to Rowett. Oh, and that's a lovely ball, but it's brought him no reward. He's got a horrible inside edge, and it's scooted away fine of the man on the 45. And Archer can't believe that has gone for 4 rather fortuitous runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Oh, nipped it back into him. He was really not getting forward at all. Caught in 2 minds in terms of whether to go forward or whether to go back. Just brought the bat down on it quite late, but that was enough to take it off a thick inside edge and away past Butler for
All the more frustrating
4.
given that England have two slips in for Archer.
Yeah, and all the more depressing than the fact that they've already dropped him. This one is turned into the onside. There's a gap at mid-wicket. It means that the man at mid-on, who I think is Sammy Curran, has to come round to his right to field. They get through for a single.
2 consecutive balls. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, was that the first boundary of the innings? I think it was.
Yes, it was. He's shaped in. You have 2 slips. You have to expect at some point he's going to look to just shape one away a bit.
Yeah, it's difficult for him because another single means that we've got this right and left-hand combination, so he has to adjust his line ever so slightly. He's going to be bowling to Kishan now. He's in, bowls, another good ball, which he's met that nicely, in fact. There was nothing more than a push. He's going to get 2 runs It's probably picked up, 15 yards inside, 10 yards inside the boundary edge, and India moved to 16 for 1. He's been up at 146 Ks throughout this over. He's conceded now 8 runs. Hasn't really deserved to go for anything like that. Rohit Sharma, he looked at the ball, went past him, he practically fell over before he started his run. Ishan Kishan had jogged back for the second, and Rohit suddenly thought, hang on, I've got to get to the other end or I'll be run out. Ishan then to face again, once more in that little area around leg stump, and he can do nothing with that but defend it. Back into the onside, picked up by Archer. It's the end of the 4th over. A good power play so far this for England. India 16 for 1.
Metty Jez says, let's face it, Tom Curran is fucking rubbish. Stokes was pretty impressive in the last game too. I reckon there's a 25 run advantage in winning the toss in these conditions. And Brian Barish says, good day, good morrow, cricket nerds. I hope my fellow North American listeners are recovering the annual tradition of Christopher Guest sucking 1 hour out of our lives this past weekend. I'm not quite sure what that's about.
Who is Christopher Guest?
India take a 2-1 series lead, and Suman Nag is enjoying the raw pace of Wood.
But not the roar of the crowd.
No, I thought I was going to say raw, but I thought he was going to say something ironic and cynical about the crowd, or sarcastic, but there is no crowd. The lights are on, but nobody's home. It has to be said. Wood then will continue. Come back to you in a minute, Nestler. It's just the one slip now. It's got a little bit wider. Driven! Oh, I mean, was that catchable as well? It would have been a hell of a catch, to be honest, but it's gone straight, and Rohit has a genuine boundary this time.
No, I was...
1, 2, 3, 4.
I was going to say, watching the last game, it did seem that there were a lot of people in the stadium who were very, very tightly packed in. It didn't sit well with me.
No, it was terrible.
In these times.
No, it's ridiculous. It was crazy. Yeah, well, I think the trouble with Wood there is he saw as he did fall over, didn't he? Obviously, but he thought the ball was coming back straight at him, so he put a hand up in front of his face and then tried to grasp at it when he realised it was a little bit lower and to his right. This one beats Rohit. Raw pace from Wood, and Rohit's gone to 15 from 15, but I think he's been struggling a little bit. I suppose he's had a couple of games off, hasn't he? And just needs to get back into the swing of things. Well, I went to have my jab yesterday at Epsom Racecourse inside the grandstand.
Oh, that's where I had mine done.
Oh, did you? I mean, you're going to pick it up there, aren't you? There's millions of people in there, and you have to speak to about 4 different people before you get your jab.
Yes, you do.
I just couldn't understand it. I mean, obviously they were all very professional, and then when you'd finished, you had to sit down for 5 minutes about a yard from someone else.
Yep.
But I just couldn't see I couldn't work it out. Short thinks about the pull, but it's too quick, I think, for Rohit. He pulls out of the shot, and it goes through to Butler. Was it busy when you were there, Tony?
Yes, but busy, but very well organised. I mean, it was all...
But I was a bit sort of shocked about the fact that you had to speak to 4 people and give them your date of birth before you got anywhere near... I mean, how many people need to take your date of birth? I think 2 is probably enough. 4, I'm not quite so sure.
1 for each year.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
Did you have to have any ID with you?
Well, they asked for the you book it online, and they asked you to show them the booking reference, but I saw no information to ask me for that. Could be a chance here, and it's taken by Jofra Archer diving in from the 45. He'd stepped back. He was followed by Wood. He tried to go through with the pull shot. I think he gloved it, looped up. It meant that Jofra Archer had to dive forward, move to his left, and that is a wonderful wicket for England. Archer may not have taken the return catch with his first delivery, but he has taken this catch. He's given Mark Wood a second wicket, and England are in control.
How's that? You messed about, I caught you out. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, that was just a beautiful illustration of what England missed last time around with that extra bit of pace, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Rohit Sharma perhaps just a shade out of touch.
Yeah,
having had that rest, so he got a combination of factors there, and Jofra Archer judged it beautifully. It was still there to be caught, and he did the job.
I've been very impressed with Wood, and I was kind of very disappointed that he wasn't playing on Sunday. I mean, it is worrying that a man bowls 4 overs and then gets injured again. If you can't really bowl 4 overs without getting a sore heel, it doesn't augur well for any longer form of the game, does it?
No, that would be my concern for him as well.
Yeah, anyway, out to the middle comes the Indian captain, Virat Kohli. He's got a jingle that goes like this.
The Indian says signals that they'll knock us on her ass. The pitches are prepared without a sign of grass. The score is mounting quickly and they've got a talking lead. We don't mind the challenges of being we don't need. He lets loose all his shots when the bowlers are fatigued.
Here he is into Kohli. Kohli defenses. He falls over, then gets up and leaps again to go to ground, as Mark would.
It was like doing one of those exercises, like a seal. It's sort of, what is it? When you're sort of lying flat on the ground and sort of pulling yourself along on your stomach.
Yeah, he's
a worm.
He's entertainment all round, isn't he, Mark?
How often does Virat Kohli have 2 slips in place in a T20 game for him? Not that often, I would venture.
No, not that often.
He did say, didn't he? He'd been talking to AB de Villiers, amongst many people, to try and recover his form, whose advice, I believe, was simply just watch the ball.
Yeah, I like that. I like the fact that
good advice.
When it comes down to it, the advice is not that great. That's beautifully shaped by Kohli. Just opened the face. It was too full, and he's beaten Owen Morgan on his left-hand side at extra cover, and that has run away for a gorgeous 4. It's Kohli and Kishan back together again. India off a 5 for 24 for 2.
Luigi's just popped down to collect a cottage pie with his missus.
He's
Very happy. Yeah.
Kishan versus Wood would be super to watch, says Suman. Kishan never faced him before. Brian Barris says no Princess Bride fans in the house. Well, I'm not. Peter Lloyd says I'm not sure what Christopher Guest has to do with it. He's the guy behind Spinal Tap. America moved to daylight savings time at the weekend. Maybe he announces it or something. Jeff Perkins says just waiting to see how many presents you get next birthday, Hendo.
Me? It wasn't my birthday. It was the bear's birthday yesterday.
No, next birthday. Your next birthday.
But why are you saying that?
Because you mentioned your birthday.
Did I?
Date of birth.
Oh, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, hopefully I'll still be here to get some presents, unless I've been poisoned by Epsom Racecourse. In comes Jordan around the wicket to Ishan Kishan, and Ishan Kishan comes forward in defence to a good length ball played to extra cover, and there is no run.
When I lived in Vivian's old house, which was right backed onto the racecourse, on Derby Day, we'd nip up across to see the start, and we'd be back to watch it with a barbecue in front of the telly by the time it finished. Well, that's how close she was to
That's very strange, because Mrs. Hendo also used to live around those parts, and we went to visit her old house yesterday. He plays the pull shot. It's gone way up in the air. There's people chasing it. Butler is the man who gets underneath it. He's looking over his shoulder, but he's taken the catch comfortably. Jordan has a wicket. India, like they were in the first T20, are in disarray at 24 for 3.
Maybe the presence of an informed fast Wood linked to Archer just gives that little bit of extra confidence to Jordan in his bowling as well.
Yes,
really pushed that one through, didn't he? And
I think you're right. You felt that there was pressure was on him and Tom Curran when they came on Sunday, but on this occasion they've just continued in the vein of Archer and Wood, and Ishan Kishan has gone for just the 4 this time. So whereabouts were you near the grandstand, or were you near Tattenham Corner, Tony?
We were near the start, so the opposite end to Tattenham Corner.
Oh right, we were. So
in that sense, we'd get up to watch the start. So we'd we'd nip across a little bit of the sort of the training run, and then watch the start, turn around, nip back, and see the finish.
Excellent.
On the telly. Start live, finish telly.
The only time I've actually been to the Derby to watch the racing, I ended up at Tattenham Corner, and when the horses go around Tattenham Corner, it is the thundering of hooves, the colour, the speed, the energy. It's only for an instant, but it's absolutely mesmerising. Incredible.
Always we have a party every year, or used to, when obviously we had that house there.
Yeah. I think I've been up there a few other times, but not really with much interest in the racing. Maybe the other things like sipping champagne from the top of an open-topped bus. No, I don't think I've actually ever done that, to be fair. Jordan is going to bowl to the new batsman. It's Rishabh Pant. And that is the rather minimalistic jingle that we have for it, which I quite like. Jordan will bowl, though, to Kohli, because of course they will have crossed while the ball was in the air. Just a one slip. He's come up a little bit, it looks to me. And this is outside the off stump. Just nips back a little bit. But Kohli, looking at the scoreboard, thinks I've just got to be a little bit careful here and consolidate. Although Andy Ward would totally disagree with that approach. Now 3 men were chasing that ball as it went over Butler. Fortunately, Stokes veered off at the last minute to allow the man with the gloves to take it. Mark Wood was approaching from the other the other direction, and they were very happy with their keeper there for making sure that he pouched that. Jordan in again. Bowls outside the off stump. There's a bit of width there. You'd have thought Kohli might have fancied that, but again he decides to have a little look at it. He knows that he's got for company a man who is capable of playing the most amazing shots and getting this innings going. And I would guess that if England can get rid of one of these, they'll feel like they're well on the way to victory. This is where perhaps India could turn it round.
Last 3,000 T20 international runs, didn't he, in that last game? Did Virat?
Yep, was he the first man to do that, I think?
He was.
Jordan outside the off-stump again. Once more width. Good length, though. And Kohli has now left 3 deliveries. Jordan has bowled 5. He's taken a wicket and hasn't been scored off yet. So he'll be very happy with this. His economy rate in T20 internationals is not that brilliant. It's at 8.69.
No.
I figure if you're going around about 8, you're doing quite well in T20 cricket. 6, 7, 8 is the sign of a really good T20 bowler. Once you get up above that, perhaps you're just verging on being a little bit expensive. He's in again onto the legs this time, and they think about a single. It's a dummy run by Adil Rashid at mid-wicket. It goes to mid-on, and that is a wicket maiden. For Chris Jordan, who suffered a little bit in the second T20. India are 24 for 3. It's the end of the power play as well, by the way.
Our very own Anindo says that KL Rahul does not deserve another chance. Sky does.
He's a hard man. He's a
hard man. Grand Theft Auto said, I think Tom Curran, for all his genuine guile with bat and ball, shows that pace, spin and smash. Batsmen specialists are more important in T20 than average all-rounders. Mark Wood is the difference between these two sides, says Anindo. I said this on Good Cricket the other day. I maintain it. When he plays, England is a different team.
Yeah, well, I mean, that lineup of Rashid, Archer and Wood as the first 3 bowlers, I think that's a great idea. I did sort of suggest that maybe England had given their strategy away if they were going to open Rashid going into the T20 World Cup in October. It's a long way to go, but if they use that too often, then I guess India will find a way, as it were. Anyway, Ben Stokes is into the attack, and
Ben
bowls to Rishabh Pant, who gets in behind this one, perfectly straight ball, and defends it back to the bowler.
When you had all too briefly, probably from an Indian perspective, Rohit and Kohli together, you had the scorers of the most and second most T20 international 50s.
Is that right?
That is correct. Kohli 26 and Rohit 22, I think.
Oh, Rohit, sorry, I thought you said Raul.
No, Rohit.
I was going to be very surprised if it was Raul.
No, Rohit.
Stokes in on the leg stump and flicked away fine by Rishabh Pant. He's just helped that, and it's not a very good ball. It's 4 runs.
But here's a one for our listeners, which is, who's third? The 2 people on third equal in the highest ever number of 50s in T20 internationals. 2 people, third equal, both have 18. Both known, one known and loved, one just known, I would say.
Known and loved and one just known?
Yes, to give you a small clue.
Stokes in, bowls defended onto the front foot by Rishabh straight to the 2-hatted Morgan at extra cover, and there is no run. A name came into my head and then it went again. Was it Suresh Raina?
No. Let's see if people get it. And we'll throw it out to everyone out there.
Surely not KP.
Well, I can tell you, one is a huge favourite of the programme, and the other one less of a favourite. If I said more, I'd be possibly giving it away.
Outside the off stump, Rishabh goes for a little chop shot outside there and misses it and is through to Butler, and there is no run. Beloved of the programme. Well, I mean, it can't be Michael Vaughan.
I think that would be something if he'd got the third most T20I 50s. I think that's.
No, I was just trying to think of people that
Kevin
O'Brien. We're not that fond of on Gorilla.
No.
In comes Stokes, bowls to punt drives up to mid. I was going to have to hurry as in fact the throw goes to the wicket keeper where Kohli was running, but didn't aim at the stumps to which punt was running.
Hold the guesses for a while and let's see if, or keep guessing, but let's see if our friends and listeners can get the answer to us.
We've got a changeover coming at the end of this over.
We have. You have to keep that going. Tony's going to be doing ball by ball very shortly. I'm going to go and have some custard creams, and the bear will be coming in presumably to join us.
Jason
and Jason, of course, Jason G. We've got men of a certain age on the programme today. Stokes in bowls.
Let me know when they get here.
By Kohli, who's going to run to the non-striker's end. The throw comes in. It's only half stopped in backing up by Archer, but I don't think they've realised, the batsmen, they didn't take an overthrow. India moved to 30 for 3. That is indeed the end of the 7th over, and the next voice you will hear will be that of the Bish.
Or me, actually, because Jason's asked me to run through the remaining tweets. Brian Barry says, I'm glad you're all getting your Fauci ouchies with relative ease. We facing the prospect of driving an hour just to get an appointment because appointments are so hard to get. It feels too much like seeking concert tickets for me. Warren asked, is this the Modi Dome or Aintree? We're talking about...
But the Epsom, it would be it'd be Epsom for the derby anyway. But I get your point.
Barong says, well, India do bat deep tonight and will need to. Can we blame the Bears' birthday for England's unsurprising effort last match? Sorry, Bear, I hope you had a great day and a beer for every year. Leah sent us a picture of the Muppets, which is what the Indian team is, she thinks. What's the past score on this pitch, says Suman, versus India? Bowling will England look for 160. Joycey Oates going to have an IPA beer, and Paul Sterling, says Jeff Perkins.
He'd be correct, by the way. Well done, Jeff. But he's equal with someone else, though, so you haven't got the other one. Paul Sterling being the favourite. Who's the other one?
Dave Warner?
Yes.
Lee Towers, 43. There you go. And Jason, I'll leave it up to you now. It's Missy Jez 54 seconds ago.
Well, it's Rashid. It's going to be Adil Rashid. He has the slip in place. He's bowling too. Virat Kohli is down the track to slap him over mid-off and into the boundary sponge for one of these.
2 + 2 is on my mind. 2 + 2 is on my mind.
It's a different type of Virat Kohli we're seeing now. Or let's say we've got the old Virat Kohli back, probably more accurately. And he wanted to establish his authority early. There, he drops the bat on that one, reaches a long way forward, pushed into the covers, take a quick single. And if you thought Virat coming at you was tough enough, you've now got Mr. Box Office himself, Rishabh Pant. Jason, how are you? It's good to see you there. Although I can't see much of you. You seem to have sunk rather low on your screen. But I can see the top part. That's it, you are now. I can see a bit of shoulder as well as that splendid brain-filled head of yours. Let me see now. Interestingly, we have quite a little ring of fielders around sort of third man. Forward, swept by Rishabh Pant. 1, 2, 3 bounces out to Johnny Bairstow at deep mid-wicket, and actually will just be a single. Thought he might have got a hold of a little bit more of that. We're going to have a little look back. That's actually previous wickets from the last game. His dismissals in this series. Yeah, that's what we're having a look at. Here comes Adil Rashid. That slip still in place. Worked beautifully off his legs by Kohli down to backward square leg. Mark Wood is grazing in that particular piece of grass. And there will just be another single. 37 for 3, I think, at with a run rate of less than 5 and 3 wickets down. And as we approach the end of the 8th over, I'm sure England would have bitten your arm off for that one. That one turns away. It's the googly and it stumps Pant. But not literally. Don't get too excited if you're an England fan. But it was an absolute corker. There's the red soil doing its work as that one really did turn. Went through to Joss Butler. In comes Rashid again. This one is cut by Pant down to deep cover. Just another single. So he recovered well, I think, has Adil Rashid. Got slapped back over long off for 4 off the first ball. The rest he dealt primarily in singles. It's 38 for 3. We've had 8 wickets completed, and for the first time today, Jason G.
Hello, Messenger says, I'm assuming that as this looks like being another one-sided game, well, that's a big call. The 50-year-old is on comms today, and he is.
He is, he will be.
I haven't been able to get a word in fucking edgeways yet, have I?
Neymar Button says, Nesta is my favourite tweet reader because he reads them verbatim, including all the F-bombs and crap puns. Suman Nag says, Bear, how was your birthday? How did you celebrate? Did you treat the gorillas beers? No, he got treated himself, I think.
Stokes in from the Reliance end, bounces Rishabh Pant, and it's given as a wide by umpire Menon. Certainly he had to take it well above his head, didn't he, to Joss Butler there?
Well, yeah, it was above his head. Well, maybe it was a bit wide. We'll give it a jingle anyway. I think... I mean, clearly winning the toss in India is kind of massively important in a day-night game. And me and you were discussing beforehand about my thoughts on Dew.
Comes Ben Stokes, flicked off his pads by Rishabh Pant down to deep backward square. Adil Rashid gallops to field, and again it is just a single. England will not mind the 1s and 2s.
No,
they won't be so happy about the thumped boundaries.
They won't.
For 3.
But they're always going to happen, aren't they? It's T20. People are going to swing, get inside edges that go for 4 that don't really deserve 4. Things like that. But I think England have got a strategy clearly for if it's dry, we're going to bowl like this. And I think the important thing to figure out in India is how you can win when you're bowling second.
That's true. Stokes is in rather uppishly straight to cover. Captain Two Caps was diving to his right, and they were only able to take the single. Let's see, was it a chance? No, it wasn't all the way along. In fact, it was a fantastic diving stop. Very sharp piece of work by Morgan, and got a round of applause.
Oh, there was no one behind him. So
he got a high five. He's had a sort of a side five rather than a high five. A round of applause from Stokes. That one again is just steered off his legs by the left-handed Pant, but straight to mid-wicket. No run. 41 for 3.
Grand Theft Auto says Warner has a lot of T20 50s, and Farong says Warner and Guptill are third on the T20 50 stakes. Cheers.
Sterlo. I thought it was Sterlo. Sterlo and Warner have 18 each, I think.
Where's Owen Morgan on that list?
I don't have that list. I only looked at the top 3. And one of the 2 were third equal. This is steered away 2 point by Rishabh Pant. He'll get another single. 9 off 11. Positively pedestrian for the dynamic Pant.
Well, they've got to try and get a total here, haven't they? Someone's got to decide to go.
They bat deep though.
They do bat deep, but the longer it goes on, you still got to have a start, have a platform to kick on. Because if you don't, I mean, this is the Andy Ward theory, isn't it? I mean, you've got to keep going, because if you lose a load of wickets.
In comes Stokes to Virat Kohli this time, who works him nicely off his hip to backward square. It's another easy single. Kohli moves on to 13 from his 12, 9 from 11 for Rishabh Pant. The Bear making the point very clearly that there's a little element of rebuilding and platform building. Not of the Andy Ward hit and keep hitting school then, Bear.
Well, I understand what Andy's saying, but I mean, I think the stats say you should just carry on like that, yeah, but the human element comes into it, doesn't it?
Stokes is in, flicked but flicked to deep backward square, and just another single for Rishabh Pant.
And I think
he moved on to 10.
The human element says, you know, you believe in your own ability. So it's like, well, if I hang around and get my eye in, I'll get those runs. It just doesn't always work out like that. So, you know, it only takes 2 or 3 balls to get yourself in. If you get lucky in those 3 balls, you're up and away. And generally, if you hit a couple of not decent shots and get a couple of boundaries, you think, oh, I'm in, and suddenly everything clicks into place.
Your beautiful balloon.
Yeah, exactly. In your bubble, in your head bubble. You have enough bubbles everywhere else, but.
A run rate of under 5 and over. Still, England will be happy as Larry with that, I suspect. 44 for 3. That's a run rate of just 4.89 with 9 overs complete. Jason.
And India and various people are having discussions about KL Rahul versus the other openers.
Well, swept around the corner by Rishabh Pant off that delivery from Adil Rashid, and that is going to go to long leg for 4 runs.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary,
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Okay, Rahul's had 3 bad innings in a row. Does that make him a bad T20 opener? Does it just make him a bad T20 over against England specifically? Or
he was backed quite very solidly by Virat Kohli, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And this one is lofted. Well. Away over extra cover this time by Pant. It's 4 more. Rashid's coming in for a bit of tap here. Pant has pressed the accelerator button. And with Kohli for company, England need to find a strategy to slow him down a bit. Presumably that would be the accelerator pedal, not button, depending on what you're driving, I suppose. Ooh, reverse swept! And not actually going anywhere this time.
Well,
so they took a very quick single. The throw came in. They made their ground.
I think
another look.
Adil Rashid thought he got. He didn't hit it, did he? I think he thought it was pad only, and that's why he was appealing.
Rishabh Pant's got a big smile on his face, but that's often situation normal. He clearly is a man who enjoys his cricket. The slip is there for Rashid. This is flicked off his legs by Pant. Way too long on, another single.
That was Kohli.
That was Virat, wasn't it? I beg your pardon, the right-hander, yes. Quite right. 54 for 3. We're going to see, what are we seeing here? On the ball that was just smashed away imperiously by Rishabh Pant. Put a bit of a dent in Adil's numbers. Well, 26% Google is of his deliveries, so pretty much near enough 1 in 4 since 2018 as Adil Rashid. In he comes to Pant this time, who tickles him away down to deep square leg. Another single. 55 for 3. That run rate now with those 2 back-to-back boundaries and a series of singles has bustled along to getting to over 5.5. It's amazing how quickly that it changes. 2 consecutive boundaries, and all of a sudden it looks a slightly different game. More air this time, bowling to Kohli by Rashid. It was a particularly good delivery, that. I think Kohli decided the discretion was definitely the better part of Bala, pushed it into the onside. There was no run. And Jason?
Josie Oak says, every time you mention umpire Menon, I think of the Pacini Opera Manon Let's Go.
Oh, okay.
Jeff Perkins says Guptill has 17 T20 50, so he's probably higher in the list at some point.
He's one, so he must be 4th.
Nessa comes back with, I always think of Indian tennis player Sashi Menon to Anandir.
Okay.
Suman Nag says, anyone for early call of super over this game? And we have a picture from Dr. Dan.
Oh, thank you very
of
much.
KL Rahul.
Dr. Dan. Okay, we must have, again, he probably had to draw quickly then.
Yeah.
Didn't have a long time to get him to pose, did he? 55 for 3. We've completed 10 overs, so we're halfway through. What do they normally say? When you're halfway, if you add a bit and then another third, you're looking at
something like that,
140?
140, 150. I think they'd like to get to 160 from here, but it all depends on whether England can take the wickets or not.
I'd say you need to double it after 12 or 13 overs.
That's the other way to look at it. Probably we get to the same number though, so slightly different methodologies. This is short and pulled, and away, stopped, half stopped. But mid-wicket, they will, though, come through for 3.
No, they came through for 2.
2, thank you, Bear.
Yeah.
Jordan has replaced Ben Stokes, by the way. Rishabh Pant, the left-hander, pulled that to mid-wicket. In fact, it was half stopped. Really well indeed.
Yeah, but the half stop.
For Archer.
The half stop was what cost the extra run, I think. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, that's the sod's law, isn't it?
It's an unforgiving game, T20.
It is. But if he'd left it, it would have gone. Was anyone backing up? No. So if he hadn't have made the half stop, it would have been 3 and possibly 4.
Well, no.
Past the outside edge of Pant by Jordan. What a good ball that was. Pant had a little flick outside of his off stump, and it went through to Josh Butler. So that's an excellent comeback by Chris Jordan, who really did take a fair bit of tap in the last game.
Well, he did.
Come roaring back with a wicket this game.
And the weird thing I found about the last game is because I went out to Sainsbury's, obviously, in the middle, and then I came back and I was getting England's score at the end, and I think I came back and saw the last over or so of England after this ball.
Jordan is again right arm round the wicket, flicked down to deep square leg. Just another single this over. 127 kilometres an hour, 143, which was the one that beat the outside edge, and then 131. So that looked something like the effort ball, didn't it, that beat the outside edge?
Yeah. And England, watching Thacker bowl at the end with all those cutters and all that stuff, and England really couldn't get the pace on the ball, and then for some reason England didn't just copy that towards the end of the middle overs, and it's kind of like, well, clearly that was difficult to hit, and it was just getting slower, and England still seemed to be trying to bang it into the deck. I thought that's a bit weird.
Well, since 2018, as Jordan's in, this one's way down leg side, and I think it's going to be given as a wide, as Kohli was stepping away to off.
No, I think it's hit Kohli's, and therefore it's not given as a wide.
Oh, did it? I didn't realise it actually caught him.
Well, the dot went up.
Let's have a look. Did it catch something of him? Yes, it did. It caught his
pocket,
top of his glutamus maximus as he turned. 25% of his wickets since 2018 with slower balls, Chris Jordan. And he has 4 men on the leg side, 1 short at mid-on, the other 3 ranged around the boundary, slapped high. It's going to go all the way, is it?
No.
It pitches just short, but there wasn't a man there. Signalled as 4, and fine shot by Kohli.
He's lucky there's no one down there, though, isn't it? It's pretty much the cow, and the guy's further round.
There was. You'd probably argue if you were there that he knew there was no one.
Well, that's
there.
true. He gets to get to see the field. We don't, I suppose. It's very true.
We get to see the dots when the producer graciously
puts them up
does a little field map for us. This is driven straight to cover. Captain Two Caps is on the case, and there will be no run. In fact, he takes one of those caps off. 62 for 3, 11 overs completed. Jason G.
Some YouTube shout outs. Stephen Kelp is with us and says, loving the pace attack. Anthony Bush says, if Wood didn't fall over so much in his follow through, maybe his hooves would be in better condition. Diana Cullick says, hello. Dara Azizi says, I hate Pant coming at me. Daniel Kippel says, hello and thank you for the commentary.
Pleasure, indeed.
Derek Benter says, I expect an England victory today. And Dara Azizi says, wake up, Mr. Bishop.
Why?
You must have looked sleepy at some point.
Did I? Don't know. 62 for 3 anyway. Let's see. Current, if they go at 6 and over 116, 8 and over 134, 10 and over 152. Yeah, 130 odd feels, between 130 and 150 feels the right mark. England would be disappointed if it went above that, for sure. Now, Sam Curran. Well, he started the last game quite magnificently with a wicket off the last ball. Removed KL Rahul with one that bounced a bit.
Sorry, Warren reminded me that I hadn't actually synced Hot Mic. So it's synced now. If you're listening, Warren, you'll catch this in a couple of seconds and you'll be able to sync it.
You didn't have that sinking feeling. 62 for 3. Sam Curran will take up the attack economy rate of just a shade over 8, best of 3 for 28. And a shock of newly dyed blonde hair atop his head, and this is cut nicely to backward point by Pant. They take 2.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he should be in some new wave band of the early 80s.
Indeed.
It's the flock of seagulls look.
Yeah.
Hang on now, are we...
Yes. I think Rohit's gone back for a second or something, and
he did.
Turned down. Rishabh even.
The decision is pending. Our Cycle Pure Agarbati signal is flashing, and I think he's short by a country mile. He is. India have lost their 4th wicket. It will be Rishabh Pant. We just wait for the confirmation of that. Indeed, short he was. It looked like the 2 was simple enough. It wasn't. The throw was in. The bails were removed by the aforementioned Karan. In fact, it was a misfield. It was a complete misfield. That's what did it. Josh Butler was the one who was asleep. He dropped the throw, and the Rishabh Pant turner thought, oh right, that makes it a 3rd. Off he went.
No, Rishabh Pant didn't. I think Kohli said, yes, let's go for the 3rd. He's just sold him right down the fucking river, because Pant was well past the wicket, wasn't even looking for a 3rd. Obviously his skipper has said, yes, 3, and he's gone, shit, and legged it down the other end and been well short. It's my thoughts on that.
He's certainly gone 15, probably 10 yards past the popping crease on his way back, so it was asking an awful lot of him.
Exactly. I think that's you've got to blame the skip there, I'm afraid. He's not going to say that in the dressing room because he's his skipper, but he's been sold down the river on that one.
Reproach is his Kohliness. Well, nonetheless, Virat is there. Rishabh Pant has been caught out, well, not caught out literally, caught out by running so hard. He left himself too much to do to come back for his captain's call. He's been run out. 64 for 4 are India. We've had the first ball of Sam Curran's over, the 12th in all, and it has, although not really, well, Curran did have something to do with it because he was the one who removed the bails with the throw after what was effectively running for an overthrow. In comes Curran. Over the wicket, pushed by Kohli to mid-off. This one is a more secure single, and it will bring the new man to the crease, Shreyas Iyer, who we should jingle.
Diving away at the edge of the play, it's so tragic. Rolling in pain off the field again, it's tragic. And you and your batting desire, you took my place.
Curran, that swung. It swung, but it was away through extra cover. Chris Jordan is galloping after it for all he's worth. He's not going to catch it. And Shreyas Iyer is off the mark with a very well struck 4.
It's me, Sanshi. It's me, Sanshi.
Yeah, just angled the bat, leant into it, beat the dive of Morgan, bisected the field, and Jordan certainly gave it commendable chase, but was always going to come second in that particular race. 69 for 4.
And Tanker C says, if you want to win the Ashes, thinking ahead, in Australia, we must have Wood available and fit for the series. He has more of the X factor than Archer.
That's what we were talking about, Jason, I think just before you were on. The issue with Mark Wood is just, can he stay fit enough long enough for a 5-test series? I mean, he's had to rest his heel after bowling 4 overs in a T20. That one was bat nicely dropped on it by Shreyas Iyer to gallop that quick single. Kohli will be back on to strike. All sorts of things happening in this over. That one's off his hip. Down to away, down to square leg. Just another single. Bring Virat Kohli back on to strike.
I think you've got to accept that Wood is never going to complete a series, and you're going to get maybe 2, if you're lucky, 3 games out of him in a test series.
Well, he and Stone almost together sort of represent one bowler.
Exactly, but then you also need
for a series, I think.
You also need Archer fit for the entire series, and Archer's elbow at the moment is looking troublesome, which is, I'm sure it's annoying for him.
Curran in, waited for nicely, dabbed away, but dabbed straight to backward point and no run.
But it's really annoying if you're
on that occasion.
It's really annoying if you're a fan.
Arguably, Woodstone and Archer are all fighting for one spot in the side, with Stokes available to bowl as well, and one spinner.
Yeah, again, this is where having Moeen is really quite handy because he takes up the spinners and a batter's spot, which allows you to get them all in. And then you've got Stokes as an all-rounder, so you've got to treat him as one of the bowlers, I think.
Yeah, you do. Jason, who have you got for us?
I'm going to do some quick tracker shout-outs for Mohammad Siraj Alam, Harshit Garg, Rahul Kratagi, Naziz Alam, Pramod Patel, Wasif Ali, Pawana Moyal, Bala, Kudu Yadav, Ramesh Kumar, Mohammad Sumon, Sudesh Unakrishnan and Ronak Pandey are with us. Thank you very much.
We are going to see Adil Rashid back into the attack and is immediately whipped by Kohli down to deep mid-wicket. They will only take a single. He's replacing Chris Jordan. It will be his last over, of course, for Adil. So England looking to play that particular card early-ish in the piece. They normally have Chris Jordan marked down as their finisher, don't they? Yes, there is a change. There will be a change at the end of this over. Certainly in the commentary box. In comes Rashid. He has that slip in place and he bowls the leg break. And Shreyas Iyer set off, stopped, turned back, holds his hand up. Whoever's call that was, it was Virat's call, and Virat sent him back on this occasion correctly, unlike the last call, which cost the wicket of Rishabh Pant. But that one, it was very legitimately Virat's call. He was quick to stop Shreyas Iyer in his tracks. Comes Rashid again, pushed to mid-on. They're going to have to hurry there, but they achieve it well enough. Sam Curran is on his knees doing the fielding. Be another single to the score, 73 for 4. That run rate still hovering below 6. That's where England will want to see it for as long as they can keep it there. If it stayed there, they will be happy indeed, I would think.
We got
21 for Virat Kohli, 6 for Shreyas Iyer. There.
We got one more over after this, actually, guys.
No, the middle session is shorter, as this one is steered away to point, no run. This is the 13th over.
Yes, you're
so
right.
We do 7, 6 and 7.
Okey-dokey.
Unless the ECB suddenly decides to create a new format called T21.
Well, that
enable us to divide by 3.
Yeah, that'd be handy.
As down the track, but just a single push to a wideish mid-on. 74 for 4. A dot, 3 singles, 2 dots, single dot, single dot, single. Rashid will be thrilled to bits with that. He'll be happy to keep it that way. He'll be even more thrilled if he can get a wicket bowling at Shreyas Iyer now. But the last 2.5 overs, 19 runs and the 1 wicket. So we'll consider that pretty decent business, really. Here comes Rashid, and that turns, and it really turned and beat Shreyas Iyer's outside edge. It's through to Butler. 13 overs are completed. India are 74 for 4. Kohli 22, Shreyas Iyer 6, and we will have a change. And I think the birthday boy will be behind the mic.
I am. I should be here with Nestle and Hendo, 2 other beautiful men to go with me. All right, there, Nestlers.
All right, mate. Happy birthday for yesterday.
Right, thank you, man. And I'd like to say to everybody who tweeted me and sent messages and all that sort of thing, thank you to all. There was loads. It was great. It was quite, having a birthday in a pandemic is not much fun, really.
Well, it's just you and the family, I suppose.
Well, it was just me all day. The kids were at school and the wife was at work, so I was just pottering around at home, sorting shit out.
Oh, well. It's just a number there. It doesn't really mean anything.
It doesn't. Is Hendo going to join us, or is he just fallen asleep?
He's gone into a pastry coma.
Probably. Sammy Curran is going to come back. He's got 3 overs left. England are 74 for 4. Wood, Jordan, Stokes have 2, and Curran has 1. Now, that's quite a clever bit of bowling by Sammy Curran, and he's got no joy out of it, really. Kohli has come down a wicket to try and give himself some room, gone to leg, and Sammy Curran's followed him. He's missed a shot, it's come off his pad, beat Butler, and it's gone away down to a very fine leg for 4 runs. Leg byes. It's an unforgiving game, I said that. Do you want to message Hendo and tell him he's supposed to be on air? On the old WhatsApp.
Come on, Endo.
Curran in. This time he gives himself some room, and Kohli slaps him over extra cover. Not enough to get it over to the boundary. Must have been a slight mistake, 'cause it's still quite short boundaries here. And he gets 2 runs out into deep as Johnny Bairstow comes from deep cover. Move the score on to 80 for 4.
I'm here.
There you are. What was going on?
I thought it was 7 to 14 inclusive.
But do you see, that's why I was getting confused as well.
If you will write inclusive on things, that will confuse me.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought we had another over in that configuration, but we didn't. There's an appeal from Butler behind as it's a slow ball into the wicket, and Kohli misses it. Butler thought there might have been an edge and there's no run.
What am I doing? Am I doing tweets?
No, you're summarising, I believe.
I'm summarising. Okay, I don't mind a bit of summarising.
I was saying to Tone, what surprised me about... Did you watch Sunday's game? You were doing it when you watched Sunday's game.
I saw some of it. I didn't see it all. I didn't see up until about 90 odd in the England innings is when I picked it up.
Yes, so at the end of the England innings, when we couldn't score any runs on those last 4 or 5 overs and kept losing wickets, India just kept bowling sort of into the pitch with a lot of cuts, and it was just going nowhere. Yeah, Sammy Curran in, bowls it short, surprises Kohli a little bit, slaps it in front of square down to about cow corner. Stokes comes around from mid on, and I think they only got 1 there, didn't they? Yeah, they didn't only get 1. And then England didn't, having seen how effective that was and how hard it was to score off, England just didn't bother doing what they were doing to us.
Yeah, I mean,
or do you think they weren't able to?
I thought India batted really well, and I thought England just all over looked a bit flat. Would that be right? They just didn't seem at the races to me.
I think the problems arose with the extra bowlers really from the very start. Jordan and Tom Curran got hit. You really crying out for Mark Wood in that position.
Yeah, and Adil Rashid got a bit tap as well, didn't he? That's clipped up too long on, and there's no run. I mean,
I thought Adil Rashid was unlucky in the sense that they decided not to open with him on this occasion, and by the time he got on, Ishan Kishan and Virat Kohli were well established and were hitting the ball quite well. And of course, if he doesn't get it quite right, if you're bowling someone like Ishan Kishan who loves to slog sweep, if you don't get it right and it's the leg spinner, then he's going to pick you up 2 or 3 times and over, isn't he?
Yeah, and he was. But I also wonder if it's different tactics for different time of day. You know, the whole, right, we can do this at this time of day because the ball's not going to get wet because there's no dew. I've got a thing about dew at the moment, especially with this tournament, because it seems if you bowl first, you get a lot more control because the ball's not wet and the outfield's not wet and it doesn't skid onto the batsman, which gives it a little bit of pace. I think that's why they all want to bat second, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Not only the fact it's supposedly easier to chase, but the stats don't bear that out really. Oh, it's me. Sorry.
Yes.
I thought you were going to jump in, Hendo. Slapped up to long off by Shreyas Iyer, who's quite a nice batsman to watch. But saw a bit of him in the IPL last year, and I've got a lot of time for him. He's quite an intelligent T20 player. Doesn't hit a lot of sixes. Hits a lot of fours though.
Yeah, no, he's
finds the gaps.
He's a beautiful timer of the ball, isn't he?
Yeah.
Times it beautifully and he paces it really well. And if you can do that, you don't really need to hit it that hard.
No.
And that's what he did in the first T20. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. He did a lot of that in the IPL last year. We saw him doing that in the IPL.
Yeah.
The wonderfully named Jimmy Danger said, "I'm beginning to develop an unhealthy habit of being unable to watch cricket without my grumpy gorillas. It's a really good habit to have."
It's a really good habit to have. It's like
Jimmy Danger.
The whole original concept is like watching it with your mates on the TV. That's why we bring all you guys into it. You know. Speaking of that, and therefore can you patron us?
It's going to be on the National Health fairly soon. I think.
Absolutely.
Along with the vaccination, you get like a link to our website.
Ooh,
Changing
I
the
do
bowling?
think. Oh, it is. It's Mark Wood back. I was just going to say, I do think I am suffering from my my jab yesterday. I'm feeling a little bit beneath
A
the
little
weather.
bit woozy.
Yeah, a bit odd. A little bit odd. Just taking some headache tablets.
That's good then. That means it's worked on you. That's pulled, not particularly well timed by Kohli, out to the deep mid wicket. He'll just get him single. We'll give the bowler a little jingle.
Do you know Mark Wood? Yes, he is an England bowler, quite good and pretty quick.
So just a normal guy.
Of course, except for just one thing.
What?
He thinks that he's a horse.
Right. What?
That could also be the Bill Gates chip that's working its way through your bloodstream.
Yeah. That's it. Someone's gonna take over your body soon, Hendo.
Well, if it makes my Hotmail work better, I'm more than happy about that.
Yeah, you'll be linked to it cyborgically or something. Cyborgically, that's not even a word. Wood is in to Shreyas Iyer, who goes deep in its crease and works him out to deep mid wicket. They might think about 2 here. They do go. They go for 2, and they get there. As Morgan stands at non-strikers end. India are 86 for 4. Kohli is 27 off 28, and Shreyas Iyer is 9 off 8.
Do you think suddenly you'll become an expert at Excel spreadsheets? That would
could
be really good, wouldn't it?
That'd be fucking useful.
I'm the only person who wants to actually be have something put into me by Bill Gates, and that's not a euphemism. I really wouldn't mind some sort of microchip that does all sorts of wonderful technological things, because my life is just spoiled by technology, to be honest.
Suddenly you're creating macros and all these things on spreadsheets. And
The thing is, if you work out how it works, it becomes less annoying, Hendo.
Yeah, but these they don't work even when they're supposed to.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Oh, now step back of Shreyas Iyer.
Oh, he's
gone. He has cut it straight down to Dawi Malan, who is stationed at deep point. And Woody's got his 3rd wicket. He's doing really well today. He went back to try and cut it aerially. I think he was trying to plant it over point, but he obviously didn't quite time it, and it's gone in a nice loopy arc to the man on the boundary. He's about 3 yards in for the boundary, just pounced it. Hands up, Australian style, and we have to say goodbye to Shreyas Iyer.
On your bike, mate.
For a minute there, I thought I got it wrong. It was Kohli. I looked at his face. Weird. Well, that's good for England. 86 for 5.
Yeah, it does bring Hardik Pandya, and I actually, for a moment, I thought that was Hardik Pandya. The shot that he played there was much more like Hardik Pandya than Shreyas Iyer. But then I realised that Pandya's on his way in, and we say it a lot of the time that Pandya can do really big damage to you towards the end of an innings, and I suppose one of those days it's got to come true.
Yeah, we have seen him do a lot of damage at times. He does hit a long ball, and he's got 5 overs and 3 balls to do it. Which could be quite entertaining. He could still. This
Jeff
is the
Perkins says Hendo having trouble with his hot mail.
That being Bill Gates, of course.
Of course, yes. I'd like to say special thanks to Mr. Peel, the Jersey Jingler, and Jeff Perkins and Mog for the birthday jingles, which were absolutely fantastic. There's a line in one that says, "Was it make a shrine to the Earth sign?" I really like that. I might have to get it put on a T-shirt.
I preferred the one that said he's become 50, he doesn't look a day over 60.
Yes, that was Mog. Thanks, Mog. I'll be cracking a beer later to join you all in a beer in the second innings. I thought I'd leave it for the first innings. I didn't even drink a drop yesterday.
Bloody hell.
I know. It was strange.
Wow.
Kohli is facing up to Mark Wood, who puts it into the pitch. Kohli manages to get it round, not particularly well timed, out to deep square leg. And it's a single. And the thing about the wickets as well, again, down to the dew. I wonder if when the dew comes down, it makes the wicket a little bit more skiddier. Actually, when it's dry, just before in the first innings, you better to bowl first, it kind of sticks in it and doesn't skid on, and so it makes it harder to hit. So, it's almost like you've got to figure out in India how you can win in the dew, basically. Because if you can win bowling second, because it seems to me, I mean, in all these games, either both teams are shit, or there is a big difference between batting and bowling first, which there shouldn't be in an even game, really.
We'll look back on that after the 5-match series and see if that still stands up by the end of it.
Yeah, true. But I mean, So, flashed out, flat-footed by Hardik Pandya outside his off stump. Could have quite easily got a nick, but didn't, and it's through to the keeper and ain't no run. Yeah, I mean, we will do. We've had 3 first innings so far. I mean, England can fuck up in the second innings here and lose, but I mean, it certainly looks like it's a lot easier to bowl and harder to score in the first innings on 3 out of 3 so far.
Yeah. But then again, it may just be down to the bowling personnel and the way you use those bowlers. Actually, I mean, I think England have used their bowlers really well here today. I thought they used them well on Friday, and didn't really use them quite so well on Sunday. Yeah,
true. I guess we have to see if Woody bowls in the same. Yeah, Tom Curran's a bit of a busted flush in T20 bowling, isn't he?
I think so.
Mark Wood is in. Flashed that again, flat-footed again by Hardik outside his off stump. He's smiling down a wicket, but I think he was a bit late on that. Yeah, it was 152.2 clicks.
I mean, I think what you've seen here is if you've got 2 bowlers of genuine pace, they still have an enormous role in T20 cricket, especially if they're bowling well. I mean, if they're not bowling well, then of course that goes out the window because it just means the ball goes to the boundary much more quickly. But I think it's difficult that you've got Archer up top, and if you think to yourself, well, he's bowling well, he's not offering for me very much, I'll just see him off for a couple of overs and he'll come back later maybe. You can't do that so easily when you've got another one coming in straight after him in the form of Mark Wood, and I think today that has worked really well for him.
And they're quite different speed merchants as well, because
different styles.
Woody's quite flat and skiddy, although he can bang it in, and Archer's obviously got that great height and puts it back of a length really well. There are a couple of exciting bowlers to have in a World T20. If they can keep fit for the actual tournament, that'll be a bonus. If we can get both to the Ashes afterwards, that'll be a super double splashy bonus.
It'll be an absolute miracle.
Exactly. You can't imagine them both managing both of that. I mean, I'm a bit worried about Archer, I have to say. I thought that thing last South Africa had been sorted, but you kind of get the feeling that it hasn't. And saying that, he's back into the attack now. He's only gone for 9 in his 2 overs. He's bowling first ball. It's going to be a wide down. Oh no, there's an appeal. There's a hard appeal. That could be the wicket keeping. Don't give it as a wide. I'm appealing. Kind of.
It was kidology. Nothing.
It was the kidology. Yeah, and so it's given as an extra. And Jofra hasn't bowled a ball this over so far. And that worries me about Jofra. We certainly had 1 test off because of his sorry, I lost the word. His elbow, and then I watched Virat Kohli as he went back and slapped that. I thought there was going to be a man out there, but of course we don't see the bloody TV pictures, and there wasn't. He was up in the circle, and it's gone over mid-off, and a couple of bounces down to the long off boundary for 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There's a bit of an off cutter, but it stood up. And Virat was
I think it was a leg cutter more than an off cutter.
Leg cutter. Virat's found some form after the last game as well, didn't he? That was a really nice 79 in the last game.
Needed it.
Yeah, he did, but he looked imperious all the way through it. He's on his heels there and just worked it into the leg side. Can't get it wide enough. And Archer goes across the field. There's no run.
It's amazing in sports that have balls, if you actually do watch the ball, what happens.
Yeah, it helps, doesn't it? Although that said, there are times in cricket where you don't actually see the ball. I can remember being coached, and if you go onto the back foot and your left elbow is incredibly high, you don't really see it.
Short, and he's tried to work it into the leg side. He's got for 6. That's unbelievable. That's a top edge. Gone nowhere where he thought it was going to do. Cody's tried to flick that off his toes out to deep square leg. He's obviously got a massive leading edge that's gone over his shoulder, over the keeper. I thought it'd gone straight up and it was going to be caught, but it's gone all the way back. Full shortening of the TV and over long stop essentially for 6.
I think it's more than a top edge. It's almost the back of the bat.
Well, they all found it very funny.
I mean, it's gone a long way back as well. It's outrageous.
He played a shot a bit like that, didn't he, on Sunday when Stokes was bowling to him? I think it was a free hit, and he was trying to aim it over mid-wicket, and it went flying off the top edge over third man for 6.
I know. It's quite incredible. Well, Archer, that's unfortunate, that's unfair, but that's life. It's an unforgiving game, as we say. It's T20. Clipped into the leg side by Kohli with not a lot of pace on it, and it's gone out not even quite to the edge of the circle. Of course, everyone's out, so they were going for 2 or thought about 2. Fielder from the mid-wicket came in quick enough and they couldn't get back. 99 for 5 now, India.
I will get through some of your tweets at the end of this over. Don't panic.
How far behind are you, Nestlers?
Oh, a little bit.
Well, I'll try and give you space between balls as well.
Well, I'll let you have your conversation about things. I kept quiet.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was a good flow.
Yeah, things occur to you as you watch the games and you like to discuss them, don't you? Oh, attempted flick over what would be the slips. There aren't any slips by Hardik Pandya. He's lucky not to get anything on that either. Straight through to Butler and there's no run.
Yeah, that can happen sometimes. You sort of just think of things.
Well,
sometimes you don't.
Yeah, I do have a bit of a bee in my bonnet about Gio, I suppose, as well. I was saying to Tone before the game, I find it hard that you can play with Gio. There was the other day, Stuart Broad was on something. He was saying how they were practicing in Bangladesh for Dewey games at night. That's Hardik Pandya on the back foot, guides it down at third man. Who's that down there? Is that Stokesy? It was Stokesy, yeah. It's a bit like Tom Curran for a minute.
Who's that weirdo?
Who's that weirdo? And it was one run. And Broad was saying, basically, for practicing bowling in dew, they basically they'd have buckets of water, and they put the balls in buckets of water. And I just think, fuck me, I know how that's like bowling as a spinner, bowling with a ball that's been continuously dunked in water. It's impossible. It's like a bar of soap. You just can't get revs on it and anything. It just slips and slides out of your hand. I just think it's odd that they play in conditions like that. If it's genuinely that bad, I thought they roped the field enough and were able to keep the ball dry enough that you was kind of able to bowl with it. But if it's like that, it sounds like a nightmare.
Well, I'm going to leave all the tweets that are talking about XL and Hendo becoming a Borg.
Oh, yes.
That'd be good. Nano probes inside you. But Brian Barish says Nestlers breaks it all down for us. Sports is multi-millionaires playing with balls. Well,
I suppose it is.
A lot of it.
Well, not all of it, but some of it.
Well, one of the top caddies, it was Willie Westwood's old caddy. His bio was, "I carry a millionaire's bag and clean his balls."
Ooh.
That's a long title.
Yeah, it's not bad though. Jordan is back into the attack, and Hardik Pandya goes deep in his crease and tries to do that. Lump it over the leg side, just bunts it up to long on, and it'll be a single. 101 for 5. India have broken the 100. We're in the 17th over, 16.1 gone. The run rate 6.25. Kohli 39 of 33. Certainly can kick on from there. It'd be nice to get him out. Hardik's 2 off 5.
I think they can get another 40 here quite easily.
Quite easily, yeah. I think they want another 60 if they can do it.
Oh, absolutely. That would be an amazing last 4 overs for them if they could do that.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's also, you get lucky and you strike a few sixes and you get off to a flyer.
Yeah, the momentum starts going with you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Another interesting thing is flat batted by Kohli. Can't beat Jordan, and Hardik really stays in the crease. Kohli thought about run, it's not there. Butler thinks about how many boundaries he needs, not necessarily the run rate, which is an interesting way to look at it, because if you do it like that and you think, well, if I can get 2 fours on an over,
yeah, that's normally enough, isn't it, really?
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got another 4 balls to get hopefully 3 or 4 singles. That's 12 and over. And if you think about that in the last 4 overs, 12 and over gets you what, 50? So that's a great shot by Kohli. I think he's picked that up. Yeah, it's gone over deep square leg. Slower ball down leg side, and Virat Kohli just picks it up. How he ended the last game, actually, same sort of shot. It's kind of a slog sweep paddle, if you like, and it's gone way back over into the stands for one of these. That was right into the swinging.
Slightly wide.
Yeah, but he was trying to follow him, wasn't he? But got the line slightly wrong, and it was still in the hitting arc for where he'd moved to, rather than cramping him for room.
Yeah, I think he was bowling quite well when he was trying to get it down into the pitch, and Kohli was coming down the wicket and trying to flap at it, almost tennis style. And then he went longer, didn't he? Went farther down the leg side and full.
Yep, and that's going to be a wide, 2 wide, chased by Kohli. but it's outside the tram line, short and wide by Chris Jordan. I'm just going to give him one of these.
I don't know if you saw this tweet, Nestlers, but or whether you just missed it. From an Indo saying, "Make Mark Wood will hit 160 Ks during the Ashes." You heard it here first.
Oh yeah.
I'd be very surprised if anyone gets up to 160, even on those quicker pitches in Australia.
Yeah, bunted up the field by Kohli. There's two men at sort of mid-off and extra cover, actually next to each other. Considering no, one run anyway.
If he does get to 160 kph, he'll fall flat on his face doing it. I tell you.
Yeah,
he'll sort of bury himself in. He'll bury himself underground. At that pace, I would have thought.
There'll be a sort of channel in the wicket, won't there?
He'll start drilling, won't he? He'll start drilling into it at that pace. I mean, I'd love to see that. If he could get up to 160, that would be absolutely
something special.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. That's the 100 mark, isn't it? 109 for 5, India. Deep in the 17th over, 2 balls to go, left it in it, and edged by Hardik Pandya. Is it going to carry? No. Oh, and then he spins past Adil Rashid, but he manages to watch the turn. And Hardik Pandya dropped his bat as well at the bowler's end. He's not really got going yet, but he can always catch up. 3 off 6. Kohli's 46 off 36 and looks in pretty good shape to get some big runs in these last 3 overs and a bit.
Well, that's pretty athletic from Adil Rashid, actually, because he was running in to try and take the catch, realised it was just going to be a bit short of him, and dived and took it sort of on the full after the bounce, as that was, and was up quickly, preventing anything more than a single. I thought that was really good athletic fielding.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. What sort of score do you think it's going to be? It doesn't feel like it'd be competitive at around 150, 160. I mean, India made mincemeat of it the other day, and we got a similar sort of batting lineup.
I don't know. I think if they can get 150 from this position, they've got a chance.
Well, they have to bowl pretty well, as that's strong-armed really well by Kohli between the two fielders in the deep on the leg side. And he really got a lot of bottom hand in that. And he went aerial through mid-wicket, but of course there's no one there. And it's gone out to the wide mid-wicket boundary for one of these, and that brings up his 50.
50 runs, your 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs, your 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
That was absolutely phenomenal placement from Virat Kohli. It was almost as if he picked up the ball and ran with it to exactly where he wanted to put it.
Perfectly
really. And strong-armed was a really good description of it as well, because that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
You won't find it in the
MCC
coaching manuals.
Well, we've been followed by a Prince on Facebook.
Prince,
nice.
Yeah, Prince Kushik is joined us. I wonder if you say Your Highness, welcome along, along with Kalpesh and Ramesh Rana Rajput. Twitter's gone a little bit quiet, and I'm always loath to say that. The Jersey Jingler has joined us. To paraphrase Graham Taylor, can we not York it? Like, seriously?
Yeah. Well, Wood's going to come back. I'll play his jingle enough. I'm not going to play it again. He's back into the attack. Probably they can get their jingles 3 times in a game, you know. Wood's in and slapped by Hardik, but he can't beat the man at mid-off who's on the edge of the circle, and there's no run.
I played that shot to get out to, I think it was Archer bowling in the first, or was it the second T20? I can't remember now. Straight to Jordan at mid-off, and that wasn't that far short of him.
No.
So some sort of shot.
He does hit it hard though, Hardik Pandya. It's in the name.
It's in the name, absolutely. When you say Virat could be called Strong Arm Kohli.
Yeah.
That would be a better name.
Brotherly love. Wood in, slap, that's hit hard by Hardik, but out to Johnny B down there at deep point. Maybe it was a bit toe-ended actually.
Yeah, I think it must have been, because it looked like it was absolutely screaming away, didn't it? And then it seemed to die.
Yeah, it just trickles out to, well, not trickles, but goes to Bairstow. They'll get a single. They move on to 111 for 15. There are 16 balls left. Runner ball gets them 137. 9 and over. What's half of that again? Isn't it? So 824, which gets them to 34. Gets them to 149. They quite like that, I think. From here, and we've done well to contain them. Really, they've not really got away. Kohli's looked dangerous at times. Hit some big shots. So he's done it again. Now he's got hold of that. Oh, there was a fielder there a minute ago, but it would have gone over him anyway. Deep mid wicket. He's bowled it short, well wide of the off stump, but Kohli's gone right across and pulled it. And I want a slow ball, man. It's 142 clicks. And it's gone screaming out to square leg for 4 runs.
It's an astonishing shot, that really.
That's timing as well. I mean, he's sweetly got that out in the middle of the bat too. He's pulled that around from 3 feet outside his off stump, and he's got 2 feet across probably. And
he's hit it very flat indeed. There's no semblance of a top edge or anything there. No. He's really hit that well. We're seeing Kohli at his best here, I think. A few shots that we've seen from him in the last 3 or 4 overs.
Yeah.
Looking absolutely on song.
Absolutely. 121 for 5. 15 balls left now. Current rate 6.91.
I love these little stats that are coming up. I'll come back to it in a minute.
Yes. That's full and drilled straight back down the ground. Over mid-off. That's a gorgeous shot. It's there's no one down there. May have been a catch if there's someone down there, but still, it's gone over the fence, and it's one of these.
It's rather destroying Wood's figures, this, isn't it, actually?
Wood, you can't believe it.
But you've also got to say, you have brilliant batting, because he'd gone back to that one, the short one, so Wood has to overcompensate by bowling a little bit fuller, and then he just times that sweetly in the drive.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. No follow-through. Just a...
holds the pose.
This is kind of Kohli that we saw in the IPL, was it 3 or 4 years ago, when he was absolutely unstoppable. And those facts that are coming up, those stats, I'll come back to them again after this ball.
Woody in again. Cut by Kohli. Oh, it's one bounce down to wide third man. The man's finer than that. And he'll get himself another 4. This is the kind of over that India needed.
2 + 2 is on man.
17 with 1 ball to go. Suddenly the score's 131 for 5, and there's 2 overs left. Suddenly 160 comes into play.
Yeah, what I think what Wood is missing from his armoury in this form of the game here is the variation, isn't it? The slower ball or the back of the hand. I mean, it's crying out for one of those right now. Although that said, Kohli is seeing the ball so well that you think he would pick up on it very quickly anyway.
Yeah, well, Kez on Hot Mic says, let's try Mockers. Kohli different class. England can't get him out.
Worth a go.
Yeah. It's not happening. Here comes Woody again. Last ball of the over. Tries to uppercut it over the keeper. Shouldn't be given as a wide. Will be a dot. Good end to the over. But he's gone for 17 in that. And suddenly India looking at possibly a defendable total. We'll see. England got mullered on 160 the other day. And India looked like getting to the same sort of mark. 131 for 5.
Well,
Sorry,
Brian Brownish has sent in his menu for lunch, which is smoked turkey salad, Guinness-infused chili crisps, cranberry ginger soda, and key lime yogurt.
There's a lot of different flavours in there.
Sounds good to me. I was going to say that stat that was coming up. They showed a stat that once Kohli gets to 30, his strike rate ups to 170 per 100 balls. Once he gets to 50, it goes up to 204 per 100 balls. So it just shows you he's a man who really, once he's seeing the ball well. I mean, he's seeing it really well.
Yeah.
Can I just say one other thing about him? He's quite good.
Yeah, he's very good. We haven't seen the best of him recently, it has to be said. He missed that tour of Indies. I've got a new kid, that can be pretty knackering, I know. Big heave by Harding. He's not having such a good time, considering we were bigging his game up as being really destructive. He's 4 off 9, and he has a big heave, lifts himself off his feet and misses it. And it goes through the butler, no run.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to take into account having is his first child, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean, that's, regardless of what you are and what you do,
Well, this is it. You wonder about talking about English players. Similar. I mean, you wonder about Root. Isn't he had 2 kids in the last 3 years or something?
Yep.
No, that wasn't live. And your thoughts go to those kids as well. Is that live?
Yes.
That was live. They've just been
That
showing
was.
highlights, sorry. So Hardick's gone back. He's finally got hold of one. He's cut that aerial. The sort of shot that Hendo said that Shire doesn't normally get out to, there's a Hardick shot. It was just that shot, and it went over sort of deep backward point all the way for 6 runs. And Joffre's into his last over, I believe. So who bowls the last one then? Jordan?
Is it going to be Jordan? Has Adil still got one to bowl?
I think Adil.
They bowled him the last over.
Yeah, but Stokes bowled 2, didn't he, or 1? So they've got an extra over if they want it out of somebody else. I presume. We might well see in a minute. They'll put it up on the screen. Partnership 51 of 25. So yeah, they're going along at over 200. Contribution 39 from Virat Kohli, 10 from Hardik Pandya, and a wide, I presume.
This is pretty destructive stuff, isn't it?
It is. And they've still got 10 balls left. Well, they could get 30 off of 10 balls, these two, quite easily. The way they're going at the moment. That'll put them up to 167. However, England could get a wicket.
Not so long ago, you thought England have got this easy, but
well, yeah.
Now I'm not so sure.
No, not so sure indeed. And again, see, it's interesting, isn't it? We haven't really tried to take the pace off the ball. We've really gone at it, and it seems to me that later in the innings, taking pace off might be a better bet. That's another attempted swipe by Hardik. I think that was a slower ball. Yeah, 125 Ks, and he got nowhere near it. See, it's not a bad tactic, and is no run.
Yeah, well, it's like last 21 balls, the run rate's 14 and over.
Yeah.
50 from 21 balls. I mean, that's an incredible acceleration. But we said, I don't know, about 101 for 4, 101 for 5, that at that point they could still get 150, 160 if it went well for them, and it has gone well for them.
It has indeed. Still
particularly Kohli.
Still should be a gettable score. I mean, they only got 20 odd in the power play. England can make this easy for themselves if they get a decent power play, I suppose. Archer in, bowls, and another slower ball. See? They've run through for a bye.
See? Well, Armchair Cricket Podcast says, whatever happened to the Yorker?
Well, that's another late innings tactic. It depends on your confidence in your own Yorker, I think, as much as anything. And in fact, batsmen have adapted to that by going so deep in their crease, haven't they? Quite a lot.
And it has to be said that Hardik Pandya is a particular exponent of that. I mean, you see a lot of people trying to bowl Yorkers to him at the death in an IPL game, and they keep going back over their fucking heads all the way for 6.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as soon as you find a bowler finds an idea, batsmen adapt to it, or vice versa. I think. In that sense, I think T20 evolves more quickly than any other form of cricket.
Yeah, definitely so. And people forget things as well, and they come back in fashion, don't they? Because they forget to practice that because it drops out, and then everyone goes back to it and stuff. Oh, now Kohli's gone right across his crease, trying to pick up Jofra Archer. Was that 147 clicks? Did I see that correctly? He's trying to flick that over the leg side. I think Archer probably saw him go first, and therefore no, I think he flicked it out actually. And he's tried to work it down to fine leg. He's missed it completely as Kohli, and it's probably missed his off stump by a couple of inches, and he's falling over to point. Dot ball, good ball. Kohli's really thinking about it. If he picks that one up, it's going for 6, no doubt. 7 balls left, 138 for 5. Short, and that's a good shot by Kohli. He doesn't get it for 6 this time, but he gets it for 4. Banged into the pitch. He was going away to leg again, but just guided it over. Short third man. There's no one down in the deep, and it, of course, runs away for an easy one of these.
Anna C has joined us on Hot Mic. Says listening in while working. One of the benefits of lockdown working. Hi all. Hi Hannah.
Hello.
Leia says too bad for Kohli of 3 years ago that his bowling attack refused to defend any score he made.
We're talking about RCB. Yeah, well, yeah, we have seen that. RCB are not really the sum of their parts, are they? This is the thing.
No, they never are.
And in fact, they got rid of Chris Gale, and Chris Gale was left out, I think, by, was it Kings 11 that he was playing for this year? Didn't get any games, but as soon as he came in, he batted brilliantly.
Yeah. Well, current run rate has gone up from what was 5.5 at 9 overs to 7.47. There is 1 over left on 142. I think they want a 15 off this over. They'd like either 3 4s, a 4 and a 6, and a load of other singles as well. If they can get it, they should get up close to 160 or maybe slightly over. Here comes Jordan. First ball of the over has been slapped, and that's a great start to the over. Square cut for 6 by Hardik Pandya. Can't bowl in that arc to him. I think everyone kind of knows that, don't they? And the perfect start to the over. Cutters into the pitch, mate. Jordan has a decent cutter as well. He's got 25% of his balls are slower, or he's got wickets of 25% slower balls.
Well, yeah, those really are those are his 2 shots, going deep into this crease for the fuller ball, or going back and then skiving it over square cover. Really, that's exactly what Pandya does. You've got to think of something in between those 2 deliveries that you can offer to him. I think a slower ball, maybe.
Yeah. Straight as well. He goes deep in his crease, leg sides, plays it out to deep mid wickets, where Jason Roy is down at count corner. It'll just be the 149 for 5, 4 balls to go.
Oh, Jason Roy. Is that the first thing he's done all day?
Well, he's had a decent start to this series as well, Jason Roy, and usually his series, he manages whatever form he starts a series with at the end of it. So it's either he starts shit and ends up shit, or he starts well and has a really good series. It's one of them.
I hadn't heard his name all day.
So basically, if he has a good start, you might as well, or if he has a bad start, you might as well say, well, I'm dropping you for the next 3 games then, Jason.
Pretty much. I mean, he could buy a run in South Africa, could he, before Christmas? And then he's come out here, and he was a bit scratchy and got away with it at the beginning of the first innings, but then it's like he's a confidence player. If he starts smashing it around in the first game, he just goes out there and plays the rest of the series like that. They come so quick and fast. Kohli is facing up 70 or 43, short wide, well no, full wide, sorry, driven, and is it going to beat? It is going to beat Johnny B. He's coming around from cover, but he's well placed by Virat Kohli out to extra cover. Pretty square was Johnny B, and he couldn't get round in time to cut it off from the boundary. So there's the 6 and the 4 I was talking about, and they've got the 1 in between, so they've got 11 so far, 3 balls to go. They'll be looking for another 10 off the last 3 balls. That's 20 off the last over. Gives them 167, doesn't it?
He really had to reach for that as well, didn't he? I mean, it was right out by the guidance line. He didn't really have time to get his foot out to the ball, but he just threw his hands to it, and the placement was magnificent.
Indeed.
He's really gone up a gear. He's gone up, well, more than 1 gear. I'd say he's gone up a couple of gears.
Yeah, Jordan again bowls that wide leg. Oh, poor fielding. Got a bit on it, but should have really stopped it, whoever that is behind point. I don't know who that's 33.
It's Stokes.
Is it Stokes? Let's see, Knackle will be cussing now because I haven't got the sheet up. It tells me the numbers on the back of the shirt. It's number 33, and it goes down to third man for a single in the end.
Yeah, it's I mean, he's just toying with the England bowlers here, isn't he? He's going outside his crease. Outside the off stump. He's going outside the leg stump. Bowlers don't really know where to put it to him at the moment.
Did they get oh Christ, they got back for 2 there as well, Henry.
Yeah, they did get back for 2. I thought the man at third man was a little bit slow to react to that. I'm not sure they should have got back for
a second.
For the second, no. And it keeps Kohli up there, 76 or 45. This is what you get from Kohli when he's in prime form, 76 or 45. That's the kind of scoring rate that he has.
Been lucky a couple of times, I suppose. Balls that could have gone anywhere, but you make your luck and then you capitalise on it. Jordan, well, he's tried it again. He's gone right across outside his off stump. He's trying to lap it over short fine leg, really. There's no one down there. It doesn't, well, got an inside edge onto his pad. It's balloons out on the leg side. They get the single. He's admonishing himself, but 77 or 46. Can't get everything right all the time. 1 ball left.
Whatever you say, you've got to say it's been a much better recovery from 24 for 3 than it was on Friday.
Absolutely.
When they were pretty much in the similar position.
Yeah, I mean, it takes 1 or 2 batsmen to get in a T20 to get a decent score, that's all. And ideally, if they're in the top 6, any one of them can do it, really. If everyone gets going from the start, that's when you get the really big scores. But I think you can recover from ridiculous scores too. I mean, well, look what they get in T10s, and T10s you sometimes get 120 and shit like that. So it's it's doable. Jordan in, last ball's a short ball, slapped at by Hardy, toe ended it out into the deep. It's a really good catch,
brilliant catch
by Jofra Archer, running out over his shoulders, lumbers forward, puts his hands out, it drops into them, he holds on to it. Hardik Pandya is out of the last ball, 17 off 15, wasn't just over a runner ball. We've seen better than that from Hardik in the past, but Kohli was the masterclass there. 77 off 46, India 156 off their 20 overs, which I'd fancy England to get.
Right. Well, Cantankerous C says there is no excuse for short wide shit at this level. Our own John Bantham comes in with there's an example of how to undo good work. England's bowling in the last 6 overs has been dreadful. People will lax lyrical Kohli, but you don't have to be good to flog this tripe. India are above par by some distance.
I totally disagree with that.
I totally disagree with that, John.
I think Kohli made England bowl to where he wanted them to bowl. He moved them around. He was going, a yard and a half outside the leg stump. He was going a yard and a half outside the off stump, pretty much. It becomes very difficult for a bowler then to think, what do I do? Do I follow him? Do I, especially if you go outside the off stump, because even if you then ping it down the leg side, it's still going to be given as a wide, isn't it? Even if it's just marginal. So I think it's very difficult for bowlers. That said, as someone else has said, I think it's Messi Jez coming in saying Jordan is a rubbish death bowler. I agree. I don't think he has variations, but maybe not enough. Maybe they're not well hidden enough. I don't know whether India are well above par there. They shouldn't probably have got 156 from the position they were in. That said, when Kohli plays like that,
well,
you just have to look at it and say that's admirable.
Well, exactly, and that's your point, isn't it? I mean, if you look at the rest of the scores, 25 off 29 off 9, 17 off 15, none, and something, not a lot, or about a run a ball. He's the class act there. He's the one that has taken it to the bowlers, and the bowlers have bowled pretty well at everyone else to keep them quiet. I mean, Harding, 17 off 15. You've seen him score at 250 at the death of a game. He can score. He can score himself 6, 7, 8 sixes in the last 4 overs if he really gets in. So we stopped him from there, and he's missed the balls, and we bowled some slower cutters, and I think we've contained them reasonably well. I think they'd have, from 23 for 3 or whatever it was, they'd have quite liked to have it as the other night. I think get them all out, or keep them down to 120. But rarely does that happen in this form of the game.
Well, we've got to take into the account, now that when you say whether it's par, above par, or below par, you've got to take into account the fact that India will be bowling with this damp ball.
Yeah.
Well, we've got 2 Nostradamus on YouTube. George McPherson said England should get another wicket before the end of the innings. Daniel Keppel Music says wicket coming, and then he goes, there it is. Well done, fellas. Right, well, that's it, up to date on social media. While we have Jersey Oak comes in with
we're doomed.
Indeed.
Mr. Mannering. Okay, so we'll take a break, play something for a few minutes.
It's only literally a few minutes.
Then we'll be back.
I think it's
about 10 of those.
I think it's an Indo I'm going to put on.
Talking to Lalchand.
Lalchand, yeah, I think there's about 10 minutes left on this interview. That's probably too long. There's 7 minutes and 24, which is probably about right, isn't it?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay.
In a bit.
For this Logan Cup, but again in January, Zimbabwe government came with this stricter norms, and they had to lock down from January 5th to February 5th. So we did not have much time to prepare. But it was good that they asked the government that whether we can practice. So we had some practice. So we had to really fight with all odds. Yeah. But I just keep on telling them that please don't give any excuses. Let's get on with the game. Let's play whatever we are getting it. We have to try and practice, and I think the boys have done exceptionally well. And to be very honest, this is a very, very new team, young team. There are only 3 or 4 senior guys. If you look at our batting lineup, there are a lot of young guys.
Sean Williams, yeah.
Yeah, there are only senior guys like Sean Williams, Raza. I can't name anymore. The Regis is the wicket keeper, and then you got young Wesley Medevra, who is from under 19. He's a good kid. The 2 openers are new. But I think overall, if you look at this, the setup, I think we have given opportunity. The guys who have performed in the Logan Cup, and they have been given an opportunity to play in this tournament. So I think performance based, so that players also try to perform in the domestic cricket. And once their performance is recognized, they make it in the national team. So that's how it should be. So it's good, but at the same time, I still feel that they have to play A team tournament. That's very important. After under 19, the A team would really give them a good perspective before coming to the national team.
And do you have? I know there's been a broadcast deal recently, so obviously people around the world over the next a couple of years, will get to see a lot more Zimbabwe cricket than they've been able to see, which is fantastic for your team, I think.
Exactly, because if you look at this, nobody knew Zimbabwe whom they are playing, what are the scores, unless they read newspaper. But TV gives a wider base, and once the TV is there, I think the players also feel that I'll be watched all around the world, so I can get into different leagues as well. Because if I perform, I can get into English leagues, or some T20 leagues. The franchisees, there are a lot of leagues around the world, like say T10 was now in Abu Dhabi, then T20 in Canada. There are Mazanzi Cup or PSL. So I think it opens a wide opportunity for these players. If you perform well, people recognize you, and then you get. And the best part of Indian cricket is why? Because the IPL, because they rub shoulders with the best players of the world. The same thing, if Zimbabwe players can play in this league, they will be much more exposed, much more experienced, and then maturity comes handy to them. Because if you rub shoulders with the best players, then you improve your game as well. So I'm sure this deal will definitely help the players as well, and hopefully if they perform, they get into these leagues as well.
Fantastic. Let's get to your coaching career. So you alluded to how you started at Zimbabwe. So maybe we could give viewers a slight bit of story on that. You were head coach of Afghanistan, and then they wanted you to play in Kabul, right? And then you came back to India.
Yes, Afghanistan, I think I was there for 2 years, and the only mission or goal we had that, they never used to play test cricket. They used to play only T20 and one-day cricket. I said, people don't recognize too many, T20 or one-day. People will recognize how many test matches you have played, how many runs you have got in a test match, because that is the real character. So we had one mission that we want to get, into the test team. How do we get that? So I said, performance, because if you perform well, ICC has got no choice but to recognize you and give that ICC membership as a test playing country. So you won't believe, from the last 2 years when I was there, we never lost a single series. Every series we won. Only one series we lost, that was in Bangladesh, that took 2-1 in Bangladesh, but rest of the series we won, and that made their case much easier. And ICC had no choice to but recognize them and Ireland as a test playing country. So once they got test playing country, they were really elated. They were very happy now that Afghanistan is going to play test cricket. And we all were really happy that Afghanistan has become the test playing country. After that, and I think the Afghanistan board wanted me, because since I had done so much hard work, we had done with the team. They said that when there is no senior team tour, why don't you come to Kabul and help our under 19 or even 18. So that was the reason why I said I had made it very clear when I joined that I will not be going to Kabul. So that was the only thing, because my family would not allow me to go. Right. So I had to leave that, and we went on a good note, because they also accepted this thing that it is very difficult for me to come to Kabul, and that's the reason why I left Afghanistan, and I was in India. And then I think there was a very good article by you that mentioned that if Zimbabwe is looking for some revival, they should have.
I think Heath Streak had just moved out, or he had some problem with the Zimbabwe team, and they were looking for a coach.
Yeah, because I think they never qualified for the World Cup 19, so they had they were looking for new coaching staff. And I think your article came at the right time, at the right place. I always keep on saying it. So that really must have clicked them. And you won't believe, I was surprised that one day I got a call from Zimbabwe's MD. He says, we just read in the paper that you're not anymore with Afghanistan. So are you keen on working with Zimbabwe? I said, definitely, I would love to. But let me have some time to think over. And then they gave me a contract for 3 months just on a provisional basis, so that I said, okay, I'll come, I'll have a look at it. Then the players should like me, and then it should be both ways as well. So I'll have a look at it, and then we'll take a call on that. So after that, I think they really liked my coaching style, or maybe they were happy with me, and they offered me a 3-year contract. So that's how it all happened. And I think the first tour which I went to Bangladesh, they had never won. As I said, in 1998, we won a test match in Bangladesh. We all know that how difficult it is to win in Bangladesh, their own home country. But I think the boys did.
And that was a stronger Bangladesh side than there is today, actually. That was quite a strong one.
Yeah. They were very, Mustafiz, you name it, they were all there. But I think we played better cricket there, and we were prepared well. But after that, then came that ICC thing, and then we were,
and there were problems with paying players and all of that.
Yeah,
I remember.
And then we were out of cricket for almost 6 to 8 months. So that never helped. But again, we are fighting it.
Absolutely. You're on your way back.
We will back, so we will not leave it, and we'll definitely try and get back where old Zimbabwe was there.
Guerrilla cricket. Revolutionary cricket commentary.
And we're back. Sorry if you can still hear Anindo's interview. I'm not hearing very much from the mothership at the moment. It's my internet connection's not that brilliant. But I do think we've got Tony back. Tony is back. He's going to be starting off ball by ball.
I am indeed.
They've come out very quickly, haven't they? I barely had time to make myself another coffee.
I've still got one on the go. What a performance that was by Virat Kohli, by the way. Goodness me.
Yeah, what do you think? I mean, I disagree with John. John Batham was in touch and said England bowled rubbish. I totally disagree with that. It's always difficult, I think, or when a batsman's playing that, I think, or when all the score is going up so quickly and the shots are being played, is to work out how badly are the bowlers bowling and how well is the batsman batting, or vice versa. But I thought that it was just Kohli back to his best.
Well, I mean, his strike rate once he passes 50 is about 230, 240, quite typically. I mean, if you look at the back end of that innings, generally it was extraordinary. Yeah, 69 for what was it? 69 for one in the last 5 overs. It's going to be Bhuvi Kumar. Last 5, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's pretty damn good, isn't it? 14 and over, pretty much.
Well, exactly. Bhuvi Kumar is going to be bowling to Jason Roy, of course, has been in some nick himself. Whether he can quite replicate the fireworks we saw from Virat remains to be seen. Let's jingle up one of them. Who have we got?
Lewis loves you. The clouds part for you. Nothing stands in your way when you're a Roy.
It's going to be the piercing eyes of Bhuvi Kumar who's going to be bowling to him. Are we going to save that, Bear, or are we going to play that?
I played that already.
Oh, did you? Oh, how I missed it, I don't know. I certainly didn't hear it. But Bhuvi it is. Ring of 4 men on the offside to Roy, who just stabs this really away through cover, but they do not run. Good start by Bhuvi. Now, Jason Roy, I saw a very interesting interview with him where he was sort of saying he rediscovered, Hendo, his enthusiasm for the game. He felt he'd not necessarily completely fallen out of love with it, but he needed to play in the Big Bash with crowds there to suddenly feel kind of back in touch with things again. Now, of course, he's had the crowds removed today, hasn't he? I'll let you answer that in a second, as in comes Bhuvi Kumar. Swung into Roy. That did swing in. Big shout. Nothing from of interest from umpire Sharma, though. Sorry, Hendo, let me fire that question to you again.
John Batham's trying to be rather superior. He says, predictable response to my previous tweet from the Bear and Hendo. England succeeded earlier by following the batsman. Width always gets flogged, Kohli or no Kohli. Well, that's true to a certain extent, but I mean, when you got width, if you remember, he went about a yard and a half outside his off stump to pull wood. Now that's following the man. He's gone a yard and he's followed him. and he's been hit for 6. Likewise, down the leg side
comes Kuvahovi Kumar again. Big shout.
Well done,
going a mile down leg. But what is interesting is the amount the ball was swinging in, because that's the third ball of the over. 2 of those have swung in quite dramatically to the right-handed Jason Roy. 3 dot balls.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can dismiss the fact that you will get a few bad balls bowled in that situation, especially when someone's really going after you. And if they're succeeding, it makes you a little bit more dubious about what your approach should be. But I think to actually say it's predictable responsible, I think, John, you're talking absolute fucking bollocks.
Well, there's a line of 4 offside fielders in the ring as this one swings in again. That one is a more decent shout. Again, umpire Virender Sharma shakes his head, has no interest. Believe a man like Mr. Sharma. Wasn't he voted something like declared the best umpire in domestic Indian cricket by the BCCI in 2018 and 19? So clearly they think highly of him, and that again was just swinging too much, I think, Hendo.
Yeah, probably was. It was a much better shout than the one before, definitely. Slightly marginal. Let's have another look at it. It's not the worst shout. It's probably just probably clipping legs. So I mean, it's one of those that the umpire could have given, and it could have seen Jason Roy on his way. But he's getting the ball.
And he comes again. That one again swings in. This one, Jason Roy gets some bat on, but it's down to deep backward square, and should get him just a single. Did they not run? Surely they ran for that.
Yeah, they did run.
They did run. They must have run. I was going to say, just our friends on the scoreboard seem to take forever to do anything about it. He's certainly moving this ball. Impact in line, it was just missing, if that's the last one. Quite late swing by Bhuvi, who certainly felt he might have had his man. Sharma just shook his head.
John Baden says, not being superior, just holding an opinion. Life would be dull if we were all expected to agree all the time. Well, I agree with that. I would say that by then putting out a tweet saying predictable response as if we're fucking muppets would suggest you were being superior, John. Anyway, let's move on.
2 slips in place for the last ball of the over, which will be faced by the right-handed Jos Buttler. It's the match-up of the eyes again. And Buttler has started off well enough, just leaning into that, steering it through extra cover. He's not going to go the distance. He should, though, get an easy enough 3, which will also mean he'll keep the strike. And I don't know, Jason Roy will be too upset about that. After a fairly torrid examination in the opening over, Jason, it's you again. What have you got for us?
Sorry, go on.
Chat talks between Farong and us about whether this is a defendable score or whether who's favourite.
Ooh, that's an interesting question. I thought that acceleration by India was fantastic, and without it they'd have been in some trouble, but that was a really, really tight first over from Bhuvi Kumar. Scoreboard pressure can do a lot, and I don't think it's that straightforward to score, and only one man really came to the party for India, so it's close. I still have India just marginally favourites in my book.
Yeah, and a couple of other tweets by our other contributors. India says Kohli's genius has hidden the shit show by the top order, and which is echoed by Knuckle.
Well, I think that's right as well. Looking at help me out! I forgot his name.
John.
No, not John. No, John's not on the screen. Indian coach.
Ravi Shastri.
Ravi Shastri, yes.
Must be the one.
The man who loves to say bubble. And he was looking quite thoughtful. It's going to be Shardul Thakur who is going to take up the attack. We're going to jingle him for you.
Fryer ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone up there. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler.
In comes Shardul Thakur and steered backward point, where there will just be a single.
Joss Butler.
Without loss. It's very hard. It is quite hard to hear those jingles on the headphones. I'm sure they come out absolutely blisteringly loud and clear on all of our various channels, but
Yeah, I normally find
what I'm talking over.
I normally find that when I'm missing them, within about 10 minutes, I'll get a notification saying your internet is unstable.
Oh, okay. As this one's cut, and that's cut down to deep backward point, but there will be a fielder there. It's Ishan Kishan, who made such a splendid debut as India, remember, looked to the Mumbai Indians to bring a bit more youthful vigour to their T20 approach. And it did the trick last time. Will it do the trick for them today? Fielded that really well, got behind it, and lined up everything. Tidy in the field as well as with the bat, although he wasn't quite so tidy with the bat today. In comes Thakur again. This one stopped at cover. They take a quick single. 7 without loss. Halfway through the second over.
Yeah, Butler going quite deep in his crease there, isn't he? I thought Shardul Thakur, especially at the death, has been a really good bowler. His variations came off particularly well in the second T20. And I like him as a bowler. He's got an economy rate that's not that impressive, but maybe he's on sort of gradually improving that because
plays for the Chennai Super Kings, doesn't he, in the IPL? Something I've got to admit, even for myself, who's not been probably in the past a huge IPL follower, but obviously having commentated a lot on it in the last couple of years, you can see the direct link between the IPL and the players India select for India in T20 cricket, and obviously the incredible benefit that it has. In comes Thakur again. 3 from his over so far. That's wide and going, swinging wider. And goodness me, there's been all sorts of things happening here. Jason Roy had stepped wide and seemed to completely miss it because he'd moved too far across.
I'm just trying to work out what on earth has happened here.
Well, I don't think anyone's entirely sure what happened there. We're waiting to have a replay. Rishabh Pant doesn't look excited, and if Rishabh Pant, although there is a cycle per Agabathi decision pending signal, should you be considering Jason Roy? He was dangling his bat quite high above the crease, and he practically dug a hole with it about 3 seconds before the ball hit the stumps. So this is purely an exercise. Were you considering which incense sticks to be buying? You've had plenty of time to consider why it would be our friends from Agabathi that you would buy.
This is a one that's caught the umpire by surprise, so he referred it upstairs.
Well, I think it did caught Hendo and I by surprise as well, to be honest. As Thakur's in, driven by Jason Roy, but driven straight to extra cover, no run. Now Virat Kohli, buoyed as he is by that magnificent innings, is doing his best traffic policeman impression now. Standing there, one arm is pointing one way, the other arm is staying, he's holding someone in place. And sad there's no crowd, because he'd be doing a brilliant job of telling them all where to go and stand at the moment. His policeman's fielding signals. 3 off the over, 7 without loss England. India, remember, 156 for 6. Didn't look like they'd get anywhere close to that for a while. In comes Thakur. That probably is in front. There's a huge shout. Umpire Menon says Menon. And we shall see.
It's going to be one of these Kohli ones where he does it on the last second.
No, he has done. I think he's just signalled it. Umpire Menon has done the square signal to have a look.
I think that was close, and I can see why the umpire didn't give it at the last moment. There was just a hint that it might be going down the leg side, but
let's see. So it could well be umpire's call. There was no inside edge, although even that was close. I mean, it does look to me like it's going to be hitting leg stump.
Yeah, whether it's clipping or not, isn't it? Whether it's hitting or clipping.
But the question, as you rightly say, is it going to be umpire's call, or is Jason Roy going to be on his way?
I think he's going to be all right.
I think he's going to be all right because it's missing anyway by probably a coat of paint, but enough of a coat of paint that umpire Menon, who has a very unexpressive face, quite deliberately, never show doubt, he says, as his umpiring technique. but inside he's probably doing a little mini fist pump to himself.
Absolutely, that's an absolutely brilliant decision. That really is a brilliant decision. There was just something not 100% right. It was about 99.8% right, but just felt that there was something that wasn't quite right.
Meanwhile, Virat Kohli's going through a whole gamut of facial expressions, ranging from angry gremlin to gurning granny. I'm not quite sure, all look rather strange. And he's back into traffic cop mode. In the meantime, 7 without loss, England. 6 for Jos Buttler, 1 for Jason Roy, who has not hit his straps yet. Maybe there is something in the fact that he needs that crowd. Mind you, he had crowds at test matches. It never got him many runs. So perhaps that's not it.
What one thing though the ball is doing that it wasn't really doing in the England
swinging.
Is swinging, yes.
Yeah. Songs for swingers, very much.
May not be for long though. May not be for long.
We shall see. In comes the curve. That one swung again, slightly away this time from the right-handed Buttler. Perhaps a cutter. Hendo was up. Did the job though, didn't it? It was a beautiful delivery.
I think he was beginning to come down the wicket slightly, wasn't he? And he didn't really get his foot to the ball. He was just throwing the hands at it.
It was good, smart bowling at the same time by Thakur, who's having a look back at Jason Roy rather angrily.
I don't know why he's giving the stare to Jason Roy at all, because you know
I think that might be
he can't help the fact that he's not out.
No, I think that was the previous ball because you also saw Virat Kohli going through his repertoire of facial expressions. Up onto his toes goes Buttler. Oh, a misfield. Was that Hardik? Who was that? Was that Hardik?
It's Washington Sundar.
Oh, it was Washington Sundar, was it? Well, our Washington was not quite at the races there, as he seemed to dive on top of it. And it has cost his team a run and moves Buttler onto 7. Will bring Jason Roy back onto strike. 1 off 8 though for Jason Roy. And but he's looked scratchy in a way right from the off in I think not the quickest of starts in either of his first 2 innings, both of which of course he got into the 40s, but wasn't able to kick on. The thing about Virat Kohli today was just how fast he kicked on. I'm kind of with you and the Bear that there might have been some bad bowling, but the bad bowling was brought about by just how good the batting was.
Yeah, I mean,
he forced errors, as it were.
Yeah, although even I don't really get what John was saying, because they did follow him 2 or 3 times and he's still in 6.
In again. Oh, that one leapt at Roy, who leans back, and looks down the track, somewhat distrustful, as though he really wasn't expecting the ball to bounce that much. So as well as some swing, we've seen some bounce there from Bhuvi, who's causing all sorts of trouble to Jason Roy.
Would this be the pink ball danger hour period?
I suppose it probably would be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It would. There's a different proponent of using it. Obviously, it's not pink, it's white, but it's Bhuvi Kumar who's bowling quite magnificently. In he comes, slapped past him, cross-batted, straight down the ground by Jason Roy. He has finally got himself a boundary, and he'll feel better for that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Kohli. In response, I don't know. I'm not sure I'd want to be in Virat Kohli's field, because he seems to be pointing just about everywhere. He's like, where do you actually want me to go? He pointed to all 4 corners of the ground there.
Well, he wants you to be where you're not, when the ball's gone there, basically.
Where the gap is, yeah. Can you fill every gap for me? I'm Virat Kohli, I expect.
Yeah, exactly. I think something along those lines, yeah.
12 without loss. 5 now for Jason Roy off 10. What's Bhuvi got in store? The slip is in place. It's ramped, and it's ramped enough over long leg, and Jason Roy, actually 3rd man in the end, because he didn't quite get it where I think he was probably aiming it, but it is 4 more for Jason Roy.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Yes, it was edged. It was an edged ramp, wasn't it?
It was toe end. It was complete toe end. He was looking to go over the man on the 45, and it went in the opposite direction over 3rd man.
That's always a good giveaway. If the batsman's looking in a completely different direction to where the ball went, this one is pushed fuller by Bhuvi Kumar, who doesn't like being hit for 2 4s, and he cramps Roy for room. It's the end of the over. 16 without loss. England, Jason.
GPL news, we've got 14 entries, and Ian Barker says Gosh darn, GPL Sunday 328 is exactly half the score England got. Today 312 was exactly half India's total. What has a boy got to do to get it right? Enter more options, I think.
What's the pot now? Bear will tell us. I mean, it must be over 100 quid, isn't it?
It'll be about 106 quid, I would think, by now. Is that right?
105,
we can't just give money away on this programme. If it was
105
easy, everyone would win.
I think it's 105.
Yeah.
105 quid.
Do you want the scores? Scores on the doors?
Yes.
247, 293, 297, 303, 312, 313, 321, 323, 328, 333, 337 and 343. What did they get? 160, so...
No, they got 156.
Yeah, they got 156. 46, not that matters.
So we're looking at around three. If England win, we're looking at around 313, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see a change of bowling. Whilst you consider that, we're going to see the chess master himself, Yuzvendra Chahal, comes into the attack. Average economy of just a shade over 8, best of 6 for 25.
That was against England, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Knowing me, knowing you, there is nothing we can do. Knowing me, knowing you.
Oh, and down the track comes Joss Butler. He has swung through that. That is 20, 30 rows back and over long on for 6. Now, this is exactly what they did, Hendo, on Sunday, was it? Yes. They went after him first ball. Clearly looking to establish a marker.
Well, they know they're not going to get a lot out of Washington Sundar. I mean, he bowls very flat, doesn't he, Washington Sundar? Chahal is one who'll throw it up there a little bit more. Put a man back now at long on. I don't know whether he was back before that delivery, but that might make Butler think again. That said, if you can hit it 30 rows back, you don't need to worry about the long on, do you?
It was a great footwork, though. I mean, let's give Joss his due on that occasion. It's not just what you do with the bat; it's what you do with your feet. And he's down the track again, but this one was pushed through more by Chahal. Joss Butler can steer it to mid-wicket. Will get himself a single, and we'll bring Jason Roy back onto strike. Now, what will Jason Roy make of his defender Chahal? He has been expensive as Chahal in T20s. He's gone for 82 sixes in 46 T20s. Only Tim Southey has conceded more. That's actually before Sunday, so I'm not quite sure what happened on Sunday, but I can recall.
I think that's going to happen if you're basically an attacking spinner, and Chahal is. He will give it some air, and so you know, if you don't quite get it right, all the batsmen's on song.
He will. Well, he's bowling to Jason Roy, who reverse sweeps straight to Rohit Sharma, who says, "Thank you very much indeed." Chahal has gone for 7, but he's taken the wicket of Jason Roy. And India are 1 down for 23. England are 1 down for 23.
On your bike, mate.
It's the man on the 45. It was Rohit Sharma. And Rohit has done the trick. And now we've added a new expression to Virat Kohli's face, which is one of massive delight and joy. Huge.
I suppose he's hitting with a spin. I don't really like seeing reverse sweeps against the spin. I think it's a risky shot, but that was with the spin. You could look back at it and say, well, hang on, we've got 7 runs from the first 2 balls of this over. Can we not just push it around a little bit and get try and get a number of singles? But I guess that's not the way you play in the power play, is it?
Well, it isn't.
Typical.
Sorry, Jason.
It's typical Jason Roy dismissal in that he gets bogged down for about 5-6 balls. He has to have a flail at something.
Well, I don't think it was that, because he just hit those 2 4s, hadn't he, in the previous over off Bhuvi Kumar. So he had got himself going. He'd got from 1 to 9, and then he gets first ball at the end of Chahal. Doesn't even have a look at him. Maybe just push it around for a single. He tries to play the big shot, and you've got 7 off 2 balls at that point.
Well, it brings to the crease the next generation David, none other than Paul's finest, Dawid Malan.
David.
That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name.
Dawid Malan, congratulations.
in comes Chahal onto the back foot. Goes Dawid Malan, gets himself off the mark straight away, which we should have done. Well, I sincerely hope they ran for that.
Oh yeah, they will have done.
Yes. Yeah, it's one of those where you think, well, if you'd have kind of stayed where you were, you could have just dabbed it away for 1 or 2. By reverse sweeping, you're kind of making a rod for your own back. But had it gone past the fielder, we'd have been saying, what a fabulous shot.
Yep.
You know, it's a sword you live or die by, isn't it, that reverse sweep? As Josh Butler will face Usvendra. Oh, down the track he comes again. Has he got enough? He's flamingoed it halfway down Ahmedabad High Street, probably all the way to the Sabarmati River. What a super shot that was.
One told over the line, sweet Jesus, one told over the line.
Yep.
Yeah, he got nearer to it than I thought he got. I thought he was struggling to get to that, and he just kept going with the shot, and he knows he's got that length on him if he hits it well. I thought he was done a little bit in the flight there, but he's dealt with it very well.
No, he did. It's you normally know when that back leg goes up that something's happening. What a ball that was, though, by Charlotte. Broke back at Josh Butler. We're having a look. Pant had the bails off like a shot. I can't believe that Butler had anything outside of the crease there, but for those incense stick buyers, it's another chance to consider which ones you're going to buy.
Oh yeah, well that really turned, didn't it? Turned from just outside leg stump right across him.
Pant, let's have a look. He takes it. Ooh, watch that back leg. No,
that's fine.
All safe and sound. Joss had not left home. If you want those incense sticks to make your lounge smell magnificent, from Cycle Pure Agabati, you've had the chance to think about them one more time, but it is not out. 30 for 1.
Speaking of those incense sticks, Josie Oak says, does the Vis buy incense sticks? They come in many flavours, but they all smell the same.
They do. Ooh, that it did turn, Hendo, to your point. What a ball that was. It broke.
I'm having horrible flashbacks to the second and third tests with a delivery like that.
Well, we're going to see Thakur. He's going to replace the gimlet-eyed movie Kumar. 3 for him so far, no wicket. 30 for 1, 4 overs have gone. Number 157 is the target, 156 for 6 in India, or more precisely Virat Kohli and 9 others made. And that was horrible, pushed wide. Umpire Sharma, I don't think he's got arms wide enough to actually convey just how wide that was. It was an absolute stinker of a ball.
Wide.
What was he trying to do there, Bando?
Well, I think it was just trying to push it across the left-hander, and he got it wrong, didn't he? He pushed it too far. Simple
he got it a long way wrong.
He did get it a long way wrong. But, England will be happy if he does that. Gives them extra balls, gives them extra runs.
Well, that is very true. Thakur's looking a little grumpy. He's obviously going to think about that. He's going to he's going to bowl once more to left-handed Dawid Malan, who hurries him as well. That one was a much better delivery. It was full, still bounced, and Malan, who was onto the back foot, had to drop the bat on it, sharpish, to protect his stumps, and there's no run. Well bowled, Thakur.
Yeah, that was much better. I mean, Go on.
Messenger says, his outlook on the game has just changed dramatically. Having thought I wanted India to win, I now realise that an England win would bring my GPL pick of 313 in. So I'm now changing horses midstream.
It's not easy to do, change horses midstream.
Horses in midstream. That's a line from a Dylan song. I'm trying to think which one. Someone will tell me, I'm sure. 31 for 1. Dawid Malan has a strike rate of 109 in power plays. Now, see, that's not exactly sparkling, is it?
Not really, no.
Actually positively pedestrian by modern standards. He is
by
a man
power
who
play
tends to...
standards,
yeah, by power play standards, most definitely. As that one is steered down to third man, he will take a single. Kishan.
But I don't think he's that sort of player, is he, Malan? I mean, he has got shots, but he hasn't necessarily got the innovations of some other players, and he is slightly more orthodox than one or two others.
Yeah, he likes to play the ball late. He's often more comfortable, letting the ball come onto the bat than he is chasing it. That said, I mean, he's adapted in, I've sat at places like Richmond where you get, you're practically on top of the players. I've watched him practically knock the top of the pagoda off in Kew Gardens, so as he's larruped to the ball to absolutely all parts of Richmond Park. Quite magnificent. He's terrific to watch.
But probably,
thank you. Nessus has told me you're a big girl now. I don't think he's being personal about me. He's telling me that is the line from the song about horses in midstream. Thanks, Nessus. Thakur in, tickled nicely around the corner. That's going to go down to fine leg, and it's going to go for 4 from Jos Buttler. 24, yes. What's the sense of changes? Yeah, you're a big girl all the way. From blood on the tracks, I think I'm right.
Yeah, Shardle's got that angle wrong again, hasn't he? Just down the leg side. He's struggling with the left-hand and the right-hand combination, I think.
He is, and it was just nicely played. It was, that was smart, unspectacular, just playing the ball with precisely the right shot for that particular ball. He wasn't trying to engineer something out that he didn't need to, but he still got the right result. That one is pulled by Jos Buttler. Is it going to make the distance? It is that time. Ishan Kishan went thundering after it, dived, but 1970s Scottish goalkeeping style, he dived over the top of it. It would have been some stop, and it's gone for 4 more.
Oh, he dug that in, and he really had to sort of come down on that with an almost perpendicular bat, and he really slapped it really well, didn't he?
If you can imagine chopping a tree, it was almost that kind of action. The bat coming down in the shape of the axe, right from above his shoulder. But nonetheless, it was not a bad piece of thinking by Thakur, but it was more than matched by Jos Buttler. Takes England on to 40. As Thakur's in, right arm over. This one's driven straight to cover. Hardik Pandya does the fielding, and there will be no run at this time. 28 for Jos Buttler off 13. You always feel you need one person to stand up and then let the others play around them. Obviously it was Virat Kohli who did that for India. Can Jos Buttler be the man who will do it for England?
Well, obviously he can be. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I said will he today?
Well, that is a question. Yeah, I don't think Ishan Kishan did very well with that. I mean, he should have just thrown his body, trying to pick that up one-handed while you're moving like that. Half a dive put in. If he could just have got his body behind that and stopped it, didn't need to pick it up cleanly with a hand. He just needed to put something in the way of it.
Anything in the way of it. Yeah, I'd go along with you there. Thakur is in. This one's up in the air. Is there a man under it? No, there isn't. And it has gone. Not sure it went. It has gone the distance. Over square leg. I think you played it.
Yeah, I can't hear many of the jingles at the moment. It's very strange. It's very strange, isn't it? Sometimes down the Zoom feed, when I'm getting ready to open the show and the theme tune is playing, the theme. I don't know if it's the same for you, but the theme tune at various times it seems to slow down and then suddenly it catches up with itself.
Yeah, it does.
It's weird, most weird.
And also the bear has gone into post-lunch and slump mode, so he's slid down in his chair, which means if that was Knuckle, he'd be practically doing a dance with arms waving and all kinds of action going on. So you'd know something was about to happen, whereas the bear is a little more, recumbent and relaxed about his signalling, shall we say. 46 for 1. 5 overs complete. Jason.
Armchair Cricket says Jos Buttler and his beautiful quick hands reminds me of that 150 against West Indies at Grenada a couple of years ago when he hit a dozen towering maximums. Leah says
towering maximums. Wow.
I prefer essential oils to incense, and shows us a picture of an incense burner. Suman Nag annoys the bear by saying, "Is it just me or does bear sound something like Graham Swan on commentary?"
Chahar was in. This is pushed away to mid-wicket for a single.
And Ravinair says that white tea light holder looks rather phallic.
I'm not sure what he's referring to there.
I think he's referring to the essential oil burner that Leah posted.
Yeah, you see, I haven't seen that, so that would probably be why. And we're seeing that tremendous 6 again.
It's a little bit of a top edge again, wasn't it?
It was, but you're going to
top
top edge
edges.
them.
Top edges are good. Top edges are good.
Yes, top edge them hard.
They often go for 6.
In comes Chahal over the wicket. That's reverse swept by Josh Butler, but that one he did get hold of, and it's gone for 4 more.
Oh, he's absolutely spanked that, hasn't he? In front of square. Is the reverse? It's not the switch hit, is it? That's a wonderful shot.
It was a wonderful. See there. Now, had he been caught, we'd have been going, why did he play that shot? It is the shot that damns you or commends you. There's very little anything in between with a reverse sweep.
I think that
you're a genius or an idiot.
To get up to Chahal full stop, though. I think that's.
Well, I think they have. This one's pushed rather more sedately. Having said that, to mid wicket. For just a single. England have their 50 up, 52 for 1, chasing that target of 157. We're halfway through the 6th over. Josh Butler looks like he has the bit between his teeth. Probably a role that should normally be played by Mark Wood, but there we go. The bit is between Butlers today. 52 for 1.
I was just trying to add up how many runs they got in the last few balls. It's quite a lot. They've romped to 52. From where they were, but they didn't stay up long enough.
He hurried Dawid Malan there. Ball, I think, went on with the arm, kept low. Malan had to jab down on it. He hasn't really hit his straps yet.
I've noticed that
for 1.
Every time that there's a close-up of the England bench, Ben Stokes seems to be drinking Red Bull.
Maybe he's being sponsored, as this one is flicked nicely by Malan. Goes down to wide mid on, and they will take an easy single.
But would you want Ben Stokes any more wired up than he already is?
It depends on when he's coming into bat and what he needs to do.
Well, Ben Stokes clearly feels he needs to be wired up.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe he does. As Chahal is mopping his brow with that pink sleeve that he has on his arm. Going to be bowling again to Josh Butler. Last ball of the over, pulled away by Butler. Is there a man down there? Yes. Is he going to get there? No. 4 more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And that, in a way, was the good and bad of Chahal, Hendo, because he dropped that bit short and just gave Butler an age to swing it away, didn't he?
Well, I think again that brings us back to the notion of good bowling and bad bowling, and what good batting or attacking batting, and the way that it puts pressure on bowlers and maybe makes them do what they don't want to do. Really wonderful reverse sweep to a decent enough ball that was just turning a little bit outside off stump and fairly full, has made Chahal think that he's got to pull the ball back a little bit, and he just gets it horribly wrong and bowls a half tracker, which is then again put away really easily for 4.
Well, remember after the power play, 24 for 3 India, they got off to a shocking start, rescued of course by Virat Kohli, which means as we look at the race of the worms, the English worm is wriggling faster as we speak, and they will want to do that because they've got to put runs in the bank, because they don't have Virat Kohli to come in and completely turn things around. They may not need to. Dawid Malan is going to be facing the new bowler, which I believe was Hardik Pandya, and this one is steered away down to deep cover. We'll jingle up the new bowler.
And in breaking news, Hardik Pandya.
It fascinates me, that jingle. I mean, you could probably apply that to any batsman, the idea of a news flash, as it were. Why was it particularly Hardik Pandya that got selected for it? I don't know. It works beautifully though. 58 for 1. Sorry, Hendo, I thought you were about to say something there. Hardik Pandya again, rolling in. Ooh, and that's an inside edge by Butler. He will get 1, probably 2. No, he'll stop at 1. Down to long leg. I'm not sure that's where he meant it, but that's where it went, and it does put another run on the board for England.
No, it's good. A good slower ball. I think it was a cutter from Pandya. Nice sort of variation, which had Butler playing a little bit too early.
59 for 1. None for 13 for Bhuvi Kumar. None for 19 for Thakur. 1 for 25, but he did get the one of 1 wicket of Jason Roy, the 1 wicket to fall so far for England. In comes Pandya, pulled by Milan. Does he have enough of that? Well, it's along the ground and will be fielded by Yuzvendra Chahal. Coming around from long leg, it'll get 2 more for Joss Butler. He will move on to 44. England 60 for 1.
I should call you up on umpire Menon. He's not umpiring today. I think you got him wrong. It's Virender Sharma and Anil Chowdhury.
Is it? Oh well, there we go.
I think Menon's a bit more thick set, isn't he?
He is, and also he was supposed to have been umpiring today, so they must have made a change.
Okay.
Rather oddly.
Okay, your excuse is accepted.
Well, I still should recognise him, but you're right. He is like a hamster with a walnut in each cheek, isn't he? Is Nitin Menon? As that one is tickled off his legs. Backwards square. We do have a hamster upstairs, by the way. That's probably what made me think of hamsters.
With a hazelnut in
or
both
another
cheeks?
single. 61 for 1. Sorry, what was that?
With a hazelnut in each cheek?
Sometimes. 2 balls left of the over. It has one of those big sort of Zorb things that we take it out and pop it in the Zorb, and then it just runs around, much to the amusement of the cat.
Oh goodness me! I'm surprised it doesn't.
Safe within its Zorb, knowing that the cat can't do anything about it. Yeah. No, it's sort of this big bubbly thing, not the kind of bubble that we've been speaking about so much. This one is shorter, slower, and rather foxed. David Malan. It's been given as a wide, which I suppose it was. Which I think is a bit of a shame from Hardik Pandya's perspective, because I actually thought the thinking behind that ball was rather good.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to tell from front on. When you see side on, it's probably
didn't look so good, did it?
No, it didn't.
62 for 1. And you're right, that is most definitely Anil Chowdhury. You are right. Not our friend Nitin, who's not sticking to his Nitin today, as this one is steered away to the offside. They take an easy single. Joss Butler is on 45 off 19. He's been motoring along to the benefit of England. Dawid Malan rather more pedestrian, 7 off 9, but we know he has the capacity for acceleration when he needs it. And England, after 6.5 overs, are 63 for 1. India were 29 for 3. That's quite a difference. But remember the Kohli impact. Hardik Pandya in, steered by Butler. That's away to mid-wicket. They will take 1. Will they come back for 2? No, they won't. It's the end of the over. 7 overs complete. England 64 for 1. We're going to have a little change up. I think the birthday bear is going to be in the commentary chair.
I am indeed. You're staying with me, and Nestle should be coming back.
I'll do some tweets very quickly. Jonathan Lyle says, Ben Stokes has already drunk so much Red Bull. I'm not concerned about him being even more wired. You said that what he's like, he has any withdrawal symptoms. Leah says, I remember footage of Stokes taking either a wicket or a catch at Lords, and the 12th man coming on, running on with a can of Red Bull for smoke to be consumed out on the field. Suman Nag says England are doing this far too easily. He wants a super over, so he needs some drama. And Knackle says Ben Stokes is sponsored by Red Bull. He did a promo video of him before the World Cup.
Oh, there you go. That's why. Maybe he doesn't have any caffeine. Maybe he just fills it up with water. Who knows? Or has his own drink in it, but just has it on show for the sponsors. Welcome back, Nestlers. Hello, Tony. You say Kohli got how many? 70 odd.
He got 77 off 46, 49 off 19 in the last 5 overs.
Well, you say that Butler is 46 off 20.
Yeah, Josh Butler, with the benefit of the power play field as well, has made a superb start for England. Hence, their worm is looking so good.
Well, Sundar is into the attack. I shall play him a jingle. I'm in charge of them, and I'm sitting here too. And that's worked out to T-Bib wicket.
Don't let it go to your head.
Well, you know, I'm in charge of everything.
He's named for his granddad or something with like that. So it turns out that you are looking at Washington Sundar.
That gives you nowhere to be promoted to. If you're in charge of absolutely everything, what's your next guerrilla career move, Bear? There isn't one, because you've got nowhere to go.
Flog it all for
to be in charge of more everything.
Flog it all for billions, buy an island and go and chill there for the rest of my life, yeah?
Oh, I want to be on that island. But I don't suppose you'd want me there, though, to be fair, but maybe let me visit.
it'll be a fun island. Although maybe I'll just get old and grey and become like Castaway.
You look like that now, though, with the old beard.
Well, I do need to have a little bit of a shave, I think.
You need Wilson with you in the studio.
You haven't missed any action. Sandar is coming around the wicket to Milan, who just drives that quite nicely timed up to long off. And will be a single. 66 for 1, England.
He's sort of finding himself slightly in the sort of support role here, isn't he, David?
Well, if I was him, I'd be doing exactly the same thing. If a man's scoring at nearly he's scoring at about 220 runs per 100 ball or something like that, virtually up there. Whilst he's there, give him the strike, man.
Oh yes.
On the back foot, and Butler can only chunk it out to extra cover, and there is no run this time. So dot ball, valuable. I mean, he's a Thatcher Hall, so he's almost hit him out of the attack.
Yeah, he did take a liking to him, didn't
well,
he?
there's no one outside the ring, of course, because he's missed shanked that up to long on. It was aerial, would have plopped into a mid-on in the ring's hand, but of course he's not there because it's T20 cricket. He's back on the fence, and it just bumbles down there for a single.
Excuse me.
His strike rate is 252.9, which is
but it's 314 off Yuzvendra Chahal, which I think rather makes the point.
Exactly.
Poor old Chahal was the cannon
man.
fodder.
Well, yes. I'm sure Sundar will get similar treatment as well.
I'm less sure because he pushes it through more. Does
he does, but he's just he's not really turning it as he bowls flat darts. If you can get the length, they can go a long way. As that one's just guided by Milan down to the man at backward point on the edge of the circle. It will be a single.
Felix Stock has joined us. Hi team, good to hear you again. Menon is the TV umpire, he tells us.
So it completely wasted my terrible joke earlier about umpire Menon says Menon.
Yeah. Nothing new about that, Tone. Nothing new about that.
Retrospect, c'est la vie. He probably did, from wherever he was sat. If he's the TV umpire, he probably still was saying Menon.
Yeah. Possibly not. Sundar bowls. Oh, horrible shot by Butler. He was trying to hit that square, I think, and managed to get an under edge straight back down a pitch. Missed time to the bowler for no run. Ends the over. England are 68 for 1.
Tomo Pollitt says, I've heard of sponsored athletes drinking water out of their sponsors' drinking vessels. Grand Theft Auto said, I remember someone on here saying that the Pandia jingle was knocked together quickly as it was a surprise addition to the test team.
There you go, breaking news.
Well, it's maybe it was breaking news.
It's breaking news.
Yeah,
Suman Nag says, what makes Verlan the #1 T20 player? His start is usually pretty slow. Curious question.
I think probably because he's got hundreds and 90s in the last few T20s he's played, so he'll get a few low scores and he'll soon drop, I'd have thought. But if he gets going,
he biffs it around.
He's got a high strike rate. Can manipulate the field. I mean, there's a lot of batsmen who can do it. You just got to do it consistently and often.
Ryan Barish is Bear Island, just like dry Tortuga, but with a cricket pitch in the middle instead of a military barracks.
Yeah, there'll be a big bar. There'll be lots of plantations of various herbs and spices. That's pulled by Milan off his hip down towards long leg. They surely get one. Yeah.
I don't think you're talking about sage, lovage, and
well, there'll be some of that too.
Coriander, are you in that particular instance?
Basil and oregano.
Yeah, no oregano, basil.
Or oregano if you're an American.
What does that mean?
That's what I was doing it. Basil,
yeah.
In aluminium containers.
There's one herb that they call something completely different to what we do.
Cintrano.
Yes. What is that again?
Cintrano is coriander.
That's it.
Lord knows why.
Eggplant.
That's an aubergine.
Yeah. I kind of know the one. Cintrano is the one. You used to see that in recipes all the time and go,
Ciltrano, yeah.
Thanks to Google, things changed. That's cut by Butler down to point on the boundary, and he'll get himself a single.
First time I went to one of the first times I was in North Carolina, I was in a place. I said, "Oh, can I get a tea?" And they brought over, what they're considered tea to be with ice in it. The bloke put it down. I actually went, "What the fuck's this?"
He had iced tea,
and he went,
sir.
"Oh, sorry, you mean warm tea."
No, real tea, mate. Real tea.
Warm
Builder's
tea. You have to ask for warm tea in North Carolina.
Well, yeah, because it gets pretty sweaty in North Carolina. Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
but
So you
drinking
gotta have
hot
iced
tea, drinking hot tea in the sun, in the sun is really good. It cools you down.
It does. It does.
You see.
See,
I don't like tea and I don't like iced tea, so it don't really matter. Milan plays that back to the bowler. And
Very
there's no
good
run.
ball that from Pandya.
For all the friends who think that the gorilla is dry these days, where's the
got
camera? I've got beer.
You don't like tea, Bear?
No, I don't like tea. It's disgusting
What the
stuff.
fuck is wrong with you?
What's right with people
How
who
can
like
you not
tea?
like tea?
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
I'm a coffee drinker, not a tea drinker.
I don't drink coffee after.
I'm an occasional tea drinker.
Try not to drink coffee after midday.
I generally use coffee to get up in the morning and then don't drink a lot. I used to drink a lot when my wife was at home a lot because she just constantly drinks it, but now she's not at home. I just sort of drink about 3 cups of coffee before 9:30 and that's generally it for the day. That's pulled by Dower Milan down to long leg where Chahal is fielding.
Breaks have been put on a little bit, haven't they? Post power play.
They have, but they got
which
plenty.
obviously India needed.
They've got plenty in the bank, and you don't expect the breaks to be pulled permanently, do you? So and they just pulled back Milan just below. He's still got a strike rate of just shy of 200, and he's had a quiet couple of overs. Chahal's still got a bowl. Again, he's got 2 left, doesn't he, Chahal?
I will tell you.
Hardick in, bowls short with the pace taken off, pulled, not particularly well timed by Butler, can only get it out to Ishan Kishan down on the boundary at deep square leg.
He does have 2 overs left as Islender Chahal. I might want to see Butler gone from the crease before they give him one of those.
Well, exactly. Milestones. We have a 50 for Josh Butler off 26 balls.
50 runs, your 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs, your 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
Darryl Milan will face up. He's 11 of 14. Yet to get going, really. Hardick is coming in to bowl to him. Bungs it in short, top edge. He's done a Kohli. Same result as well. He's gone to pull it, got a massive top edge, has gone over the keeper, and it's gone down to long stop for the second one of these down there for the day. He was completely done there. But it's an unforgiving game, it's T20. And
everyone's pulling you up on your pronunciation of cilantro.
Siltrano, do you mean?
Yeah. It's cilantro.
Cilantro, is it?
According to the Americans. So
Well, they should know.
Exactly. And Messi says, fuck coriander.
Why do they call it cilantro?
Well, hang on a second.
It's coriander. Or have we got it wrong and everyone else calls it cilantro and we're just stupid English people who call it
It is
coriander?
cilantro. You're absolutely right. Siltrano makes it sound like a
car.
Type of car. Yeah. I'm
I
driving
got
the new Fiat
Siltrano.
Siltrano.
That's 6.
You're right, it is cilantro. To all my American friends, I completely got it wrong. I apologise. Still a daft name for coriander.
Brian Barish tells us that iced tea in America is basically watered down tea leaves drowned in a pitcher of sugar.
Yeah. And then they shove a load of ice in it. Still sounds bad. I once had tea with about 4 sugars in. Maybe that's why I don't like tea. But I've had it without and I still don't like it. It is Washington Sundar who is bowling again. And he is just played into the leg side by Josh Butler, who gets himself a single.
My rather sweary reaction to that tea I got was quite a shock to my very polite, non-swearing southern friends from North Carolina in the restaurant, because they don't like cursing down there.
Oh really? Shit! I bet.
Oh God! Yeah. It's very southern. Southern sort of people are very polite.
I don't think I'd go down very well in the south then, eh?
No.
Oh well. Washington Sundar is in. It's played square out to point, and they get themselves a single. Darryl Milan moves on.
when I used to get off the plane and I'd be, all stressed out going, fucking hell, it's fucking taking so fucking long to get here. Fucking hell, it's hot here. Fucking hell. And Ricky one time went to me, Sean, stop cursing. I didn't realise I was doing it.
Well, this is it. Who would?
Does he sound a bit like Matthew McConaughey? Does he? Your
well, they all do.
Relative.
Relative, no friend.
Bowled into the legs of Joss Buttler. He plays that out into the leg side. I imagine later in the game they might be wanting to try and run them into twos. Sorry, my wife is trying to call me. I'm just going to text her, tell her I'm on air.
My relatives in America, Tony, all sound like they're from The Sopranos because they're all in New York in the police and fire brigade.
They don't sound like Sean Connery, do they? In The Untouchables. Oh no! Wasn't he famous in The Untouchables?
Oh.
Doing just about every shade of every accent in an attempt to sound Irish.
No. My relatives are all Boyga.
Sundar, has got Darryl Milan stumped. 18 off 26. He's come down the track and missed it. And very quick hands by Pant. He's not the man they really wanted out though, but it'll do. And they get themselves a second wicket, and England move to 81 for 2.
I won't look back. By the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Oh, actually, I think he was. I think he's going to be caught. Yeah, it's he's actually edged that.
He got him out twice.
He did get him out.
He was making sure.
And stumped.
Catch him first, and then whip the bails off just for good measure.
It did turn a fraction, I think. Now it's interesting here because England have got Bairstow and Buttler padded up, and now clearly want the right left in if they can get it. So it looks to me like Stokesy's going out there. I think Bairstow goes in next.
He needs to
whatever.
play himself into some form. I think England prefer him up the order. He always finishes his latter order scoring tends to be dictated to a certain extent by what number he starts off at. Because he doesn't necessarily go right from the off.
Well, they haven't done that.
We got it wrong anyway. It's another
got it wrong. Yeah,
ginger.
It's another ginger. It's this man.
Speaking of spices.
Smarter than the average Bairstow. Johnny Bairstow's been this good since daycare. So all put on your wigs and let the crimson hair flow. I want the Pope to give him his own Lord's Prayer. Oh, he can hit the sixes, although it's so dark. He'd even run a 10 at Bradford Park Avenue. No other Yorkshireman can compare. I tell you, Johnny Bairstow's smarter than the average Bairstow.
As we said, Darryl Milan never really got going, did he?
No, he didn't.
And you might as well hit out or get out, as they say, and he was out. They've got 10.2 overs left and 8 wickets left, 6 of which are bangers. You just got to keep going. If England were 81 for 2 batting first, you'd be wanting to get about 180 from here, wouldn't you? Really, ideally.
Well, last 5 overs they've been going at 9. The required rate now is 7.35. They're currently going at 8, just over 8. So, and they've only lost the 2 wickets. So, most of the equation is in their favour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Staying there would be.
Washington Sundar is in. The first ball turns sharply onto the pad of Johnny B. It goes down to the man on 45. Will he be playing a shot though? Does it matter? Because it hit his body. Surely he wasn't playing a shot. As we look again, yeah, Darryl Milan was out in 2 ways there.
Out twice, yes. Sundar gets his hair well and truly ruffled by Virat Kohli as well, doesn't he? Like a favourite son.
And we saw a little picture there of Darryl Milan explain to Morgan exactly what's happening on the pitch and how they're bowling. Washington Sundar is in, and it's just dropped into the offside by Buttler, just wide enough of cover that they can get through for an easy single. Rohit's fielding there.
Brian Barish tells it's not true all Southerners hate swear words. My Virginian father-in-law constantly tells me I'm full of shit. And Leia says sweet tea is a very southern idea, but what do you expect from people that wake up and think time for cement, where's my biscuits and gravy? Yeah, biscuits and gravy, that's
what are the biscuits in biscuits and gravy?
Biscuits are scones.
Oh right.
What? They call them yeah, they're like
scones
like
and gravy. No,
and the gravy isn't gravy like we know it. It's a thicker sort of sauce with kind of bacon and stuff in it.
Gravy, Jim, but not as we know it.
It's a bread product. In that case, I can understand it's a bread product with pork products. You know, they generally go together quite well.
Yeah, I mean, I like that.
Hence bread sauce, I suppose.
Down the south with my grits.
St Groceries.
Well, Hardik Pandya is in to Butler, who chunked him up to mid-off. Did they go through for a single? I think they did. I think everything's a single now, isn't it? Everyone's on the edge of the circle.
And everyone else is talking about coriander, and Brian McKinnon is talking about it on YouTube as well.
A well-known New Zealand cricketer, Corey Anderson.
Oh, please!
I know we've had that joke before. He's popped up in discussions on herbs many times as Corey Anderson.
Is that your first dad joke of the day?
I don't think so.
That's just a bad pun. I don't think it's necessarily a dad joke.
No.
It's just a poor pun. And it has been used before on this programme on a number of occasions, I'm afraid, as we occasionally drift off into herb-based discussion.
There's a lot of plodding about here. It's a T20. It's not going particularly quick at this point in the game.
It's like the boring middle overs.
It is. An awful lot of stopping and starting for a game that should be biff bash bosh. Bairstow is finally going to face up to his first ball. It's short. It's bounced. He's bounced it over Rishabh Pant. I think is it going to be wides and a 4?
Is it going to be 5 as well?
Is it going to be 5 wides? No, it's given us 1 for the over and therefore 4 byes.
Okay, Rishabh Pant still sees this funny side of things, doesn't he?
It's one of these.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
And Rishabh Pant can't believe it. I'm not sure if I like that tattoo of the paws going up towards his ear.
He's got, has he got the peace sign on the other neck?
Has he?
I think
the other neck. How many necks has he got?
Well, the other side of
on the other side. Sorry.
With 2 necks.
The 2 necks.
That would be something.
The 2-necked man.
So Hardik is in this time. He gets the length a little bit better, but Bairstow just turns it round down to long leg. He got himself a single.
He reminds me a bit of Thierry Henry.
Yeah, I can see that. See the football last night? See Rui, what's his name's? Patricio's head injury?
No.
Oh, nasty, man. Knee in the head.
Who played last night?
It was Liverpool versus Wolves. Liverpool won 1-0, thank God. Jota scored. But in about the 80-something minute, Salah scored, but it was offside. And kind of Kohli just kneed him in the head as he was coming out to get it, Patricio. He was out for the count, man. Guided by Butler, can't beat the man at short backward points. And he looked like it's KL Rahul. And literally, the clock ticked over to about 103 minutes by the end of the game. They were on the field for a good 15 minutes after he went down, and eventually stretched him off. He seems to be okay, which is good news. Probably got concussed and won't play for a few weeks. England requires 68 of 56 balls at 89 for 2.
That those byes were quite useful for England because they've been struggling to get the boundaries off the bat for a while.
Exactly. Oh, it's lower ball, and Butler does pick it up in the end and clips it out to deep mid wicket. They're coming back for 2. These two are good at running between the wickets, and they do get 2. I think that we'll see a little bit more of the push on the fielders now we're into the 11th over and beyond. And there are a couple of times earlier if I thought if it was later in the game they'd have been pushing 2s much harder. The only wickets to fall so far, Jason Roy, 9 of 13. Caught off Chahal, and Washington Sundar just got Dawid Malan. It's got down there as stumped. I'm sure there was an edge, but obviously in the book it's gone down as stumped. Just dropped into the offside by Butler, get himself another single. Bairstow's back on strike.
Brian Barish says biscuits and sawmill gravy is a heart attack on a plate, but it's worth every calorie. Biscuit is a scone, but softer and flakier. Sawmill gravy is a heavy cream sauce with bits of sausage in it. And Alan Forsyth likes biscuits and gravy as well. The colour of the gravy is a bit off-putting. Yeah, it does look like a bit sick-like. Don't want to put you lot off, but you know,
you just did.
Yeah.
And Jeff Perkins says the biscuits here are like the ship's biscuits that mutineers and pirates were punished with in the Navy.
Teeth
just
breakers.
It's your birthday yesterday, Bear. You're still not allowed to talk about fucking football.
Man, I can talk about whatever I like.
He's gone to his head today.
Yeah.
I tell you.
I've had a beer, that's why, Tone.
There's sort of megalomaniac tendencies have come out now. He's in his 51st year.
I haven't drunk that much, and I certainly haven't drunk on air for quite a while.
Josh Holland tells us that he concussed his little sister by kneeing her in the head playing leapfrog once.
Oh dear. Reverse sweep by Butler beats the infield. Is anyone out there? There is, but he's out at deep cover, and it's Bhuvi Kumar out there. He can't get round to what is essentially deep backward point, and it's got to the boundary for yet another one of these. And Butler has got Chahal's number here, hasn't he? I think, certainly at the moment. He's quite happy to have him back into his hat. 96 for 2 now, England. Suddenly a couple of fours have done pretty well for England. That's risen. It's hit the thigh pad of Butler and dropped out on the leg side. Pants overcook enough. Bairstow didn't quite overcommit. He's managed to get back.
It's Johnny B's call, that one, because it had gone behind Butler, hadn't it? So
yeah, but he was back in his crease.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Marginal.
Well, yeah, Butler was always going to be going to the danger end, wasn't he? So, and he was back in his crease when it came off his thigh. Swept, so it's going to be an appeal for LBW, but it's going to be missing the off stump. It's gone down to the bowler's end as he was called through this time by Bairstow. Butler overbalanced a bit, but he managed to make it to the other end. Hit on the bat by the throw, but he was already in. 97 for 2. Pitched outside leg stump and hit his arm. He could have quite easily drawn his back round and
smacked one of his stumps. I agree,
because his bottom hand came off the bat and he ended up just swinging it around.
It's pretty ugly all round, because when he got up he seemed to wobble his way down the down the wicket, not quite sure, almost like he'd been thumped and wasn't quite sure where he was.
Well, he lunged a big sweep, hadn't he, and he just lost balance. He was trying to get up. It's a shame there's no crowds, but as you said earlier, it was kind of inevitable, wasn't it?
Looked a bit dodgy to me the other day.
Chahal floats that one up. I think it was a googly. Johnny B just defends it into the leg side, and he's called the second. That's a really good bit of running. Put pressure on the fielder. I mean, it had only just gone out to the edge of the circle, but there was no one there. So Pant went out after it, and short fine leg went round to get it. They did a little bit of time, but Bairstow just committed straight away. And then the throw was terrible. Pant went out after it, and fine leg had to come in, and then the throw was basically down the centre of the pitch. It could have been at either end, really. I think it was throwing to the bowler's end, but it's a good 10 yards from that, and ended up throwing it straight to a wide mid-off. Anyway, Chahal comes in to bowl to Butler, who sweeps behind square. There is a man out in the deep. It'll be a single. It's Surya Kumar, who we've seen do nothing, have we? We didn't see him bat earlier. And he's not a bowler, is he? Surya Kumar, he's a batsman, isn't he?
Yeah, he did not bat and did not bowl in the second game, which is the first game he came in for.
Great. Got paid.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
it's definitely the TFC role.
Clipped into the leg side, and again they're going to push 2. That's smart batting. Everyone's out in the deep. The bowler has to go and get it. It's played out just with enough weight to get it outside the 30-yard circle. And because Chahal had to go after it and there's only men in the deep, they were able to get back for 2 again. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. They're going for those 2s they weren't earlier. 102 for 2.
Pirate Badger says only the best ship's biscuits are served on my vessel. Jersey Oats says biscuits and that horrible white gravy is not that nice, but pales into insignificance compared to that dreadful dish called grits. I like grits.
What are grits?
Like grits.
Yeah.
What are grits?
Well, sort of corn. It's like a kind of almost sort of porridgey type thing, isn't it?
Ooh, that sounds nasty.
No, it's not. It's nice. And you put butter in it. I used to put salt on it as well.
Does it taste like
porridge? Like porridge made from boiled cornmeal.
Yeah, I suppose Wimby porridge is what I had in called Wimby porridge in Kenya.
To be what you have for breakfast, don't you?
It's kind of sweet.
Windy porridge.
Wimby, Wimby, W-I-M-B-I.
Oh.
Oh, not windy porridge.
No.
I was going to say that happens afterwards.
Yeah. Boovy's coming back into the attack. I'll give him a jingle because I like his. We don't get to play it that often these days. Let's see if I can find him. Here he is.
He got sent over from North.
An appeal from Booby Kumar first ball. Bairstow's gone across his stumps then. I think it's hit him outside the line. It probably looks like it's going over the top, maybe missing off still. And it's not out. And they don't bother reviewing it. They got one left because there's two. They lost the first one. An LBW appeal that was missing the stumps. I thought it was a pretty fair appeal actually. I would give it an out. But turns out I was completely wrong.
He was out on the line, you were right.
Yeah. Booby Kumar is in. It's punched just past pretty ordinary mid wicket. Hit straight of him down to long on. He'll get himself a single. Bairstow moves on to 5, back to 63 or 37. And England are 103 for 2 in the 13th over. This is my last over as commentator. I'm moving over to the summarising studio to finish off with Hendo.
Appearance for the day.
With Hendo and Jason.
I'm done for the day.
And at that point, I'm going to go to the fridge and get a second beer.
Oh, dear.
Anything could happen in the jingle department.
Well, you know. Booby Kumar is into Butler. Really nicely played. Played it back behind square. Shreyas Iyer is out in the deep. He'll get around, but it allows him to get through for 2. It's pretty square at cover. Sit down towards third man. I doubt there'll be any swing for Booby now in the 13th over.
Our friends at CricViz don't have any doubt or much doubt at all. They've got England at 99% and India at 1 at the moment.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, which that seems a little
I don't know. England
ungenerous to India.
Well, England need 52 runs with 8 wickets left in 7 overs in this format. Fuck it up from here. There's something wrong with you. That's played down to long on again. Not much pace, but they just trundled through for a single.
Run rate's a shade under 7. They need 6.95. They're currently going at just over 8. So they are ahead of the game. Yeah. Although India have dragged it back quite substantially.
Well, they did for a couple of overs, and then it's gone out again. There's been a few boundaries recently. The GPL. So there's a load of people can win if England lose, and it's quite close actually. 303, 297 are possibles. 312 would mean a tie. That would be Chief Barker. Chief Barker. Sorry, Chief Barker. And Messi Jez, of course, wins if England just get a single to get over the line. That's clipped down to wide, long on, and they'll get a single. Of course, the rules were changed. You see, in the old days, Messi Jez, I think you're the instigator of the change in the rules, in fact. Because in the old days, if England had won here, of course, with any shot off the last ball, you'd have won. Because I originally had, because that's what I thought Cricinfo did, that the score was, as soon as they crossed the line, they got the 1 run, and that was the result for GPL terms. But you maybe change it. So if England require 1 to win and then hit a 4, they would, of course, score next to 2 runs over your score. And you will lose because the total will be 315. Just point that out, Jess.
So effectively, we're not counting redundant runs.
No, we are. We do count redundant runs because everyone complained about it. That one is played out to mid wicket. Where I think Kohli Fields throws it back at the stumps. Bairstow dives into his ground. I think he might have winded himself or something. He landed awkwardly. He was in. There's no. I don't think the ball hit the stumps. He was sent back by Butler. It was Rohit actually who threw at the stumps. The ball. I think the ball.
Quite some lively bit of umpiring there.
The ball crashed into his glove as it was aimed at the stumps. He was in. It might well have hurt.
So just talk me through that again. So if, let's say, 150 is needed, teams on 149, they hit a 4. Then if they hit a 4, they've got 3 over the required number of runs.
Well, no. If they're
are you counting those 3 on the GPL, or are you not counting those 3?
No, we count those 3.
You are counting them in it.
Because so if they were on 149, the other team scored 150, and they scored 4, they'd end up on 153, wouldn't they?
I think we're going to have a change.
We are.
I shall take my leave. Thank you all.
Oh no, I'm still here, aren't I? Yeah. So I think it was a few complaints that we had about the GPL that made me change that rule. Originally.
Well done, Bear. You're nothing if not open to your public.
Absolutely.
The Bear has an open door.
I'm going to go and get a beer. Hold on.
And there is beer in it. England need 50 to win. Exactly 50 to win off 7 overs. You would think that should be fairly straightforward from this position. Bairstow has 6, Butler 66 off 40, batted very nicely. Went off very quickly, especially against Chahal. When he got the first look at Chahal, he was down the wicket, leveraging him over long on for a couple of really big sixes. But Sundar is a different prospect. He's very flat through the air. He's bowled 2 overs, only 8 runs conceded, and he's also picked up the wicket of Malan with one that turned away from him as he was advancing down the wicket. I don't think India are out of this. I've seen England make messes from this position before, but you would think they had too much talent still sitting on the bench for India to restrict them. Maybe they need to just bowl them out. That'll be the key to India having success here, getting wickets really. Anyway, joining me is Jason G and the Bear for the final 7 overs of the game. Some more played in front of an absolutely deserted Modi Dome, and here is Sundar into Bairstow, who swivels on this one, pulls it quite firmly, but picking up Thacker out there at deep backward square, so it's just the single. And England do need a little bit more than a runner ball, so they will need 1 or 2 big hits to get them there, and these are 2 of the best men to have out there to do that, Bairstow and Butler. Who's on Twitter now?
Jason.
I've
just thought a way Chief Barker could win if the scores were level and they hit 6 off a no ball to win the game.
Flat again pulled by Butler, but he got an under edge to Chahal, who's fielding on the 45 on the leg side. Bairstow was quick enough to see that there was a chance of a single. They need to pick up these singles, not get bogged down at all, especially against the spinners. They need 48 off 40 balls, so it is only a little bit more than a runner ball. But, as you say, or as we say, strange things have happened in all forms of the game when England are involved.
Absolutely.
109 for 2. Adil Rashid is stroking his beard, sitting next to Jason Roy, and in comes Sundar again, short, swept this time by Bairstow, went right down onto a one knee, and that is going to go all the way, I think, just about. Great attempt in the end by Shackles to get around there, but couldn't, so good placement from the England batsman, and it brings in 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Weirdly enough, just as I went to get my beer out of the fridge, the TV commentary were just on that thing we were on earlier, talking about. It was asking, I think, Dinesh Karthik whether they were happy with the advantage that the toss had in the game. I.e., if you won it, you bat second.
I mean, if we see it played out in that way for the last 2 games, then questions do have to be asked about it. He's down the wicket to another flat ball. It's not a flatter ball, but he just bowls very flat in this form of the game. They're going to go single as this has worked into the mid-wicket region. England moved to 114 for 2, 43 required off 38 deliveries. Brings Butler back down to face, keeping Chahal busy on that leg side. So look at Chahal's bowling. He's you've got to remember that he was bowling to left-handed a lot of the time as well. Well, certainly when Malan was out there, giving himself room this time, Butler, but he's followed by Sundar, and then just bunts it back the onside of the pitch. Sundar has real trouble in getting that under control, and they probably could have come through for a single in the end, but they decided against it, having seen what happened to Rishabh Pant in the Indian innings. Don't run on a misfield, don't run on an overthrow. Well, sometimes
not on that one. He got really sold down by Kohli.
Well, was he sold by Kohli, or was it his own fault for running too far past the striker's stumps?
Well, having done that and having got the single or whatever, the 2 that they were going for, Kohli just said that's,
smashed up high. Has he got enough length on it, Butler, this time? I think it's going to drop inside the line. No, it isn't. It's not going to drop anywhere near inside the line. That's got about 18 rows back, and it's 6 more for Jos Butler. 73 from 43.
Oh, I say, chap, give me any lip.
That's just emphasising the fact from Farong that the outcome will largely depend on the man with 1 S and 2 T's. Game on.
I think you're right. And that was the Washington Sundar ball where he does give it a little bit more air, and it worked well for him on Sunday. But Butler's been in there too long. He's seeing the ball too well, and that was the 5th, 6th of the England innings, and I think the 4th that's been hit by Butler.
Leah says Grich is a hillbilly's idea of polenta. Cantankerous C says, with the lack of crowds, a slow play, and India producing test match wickets like minefields, 20 wickets falling in 30 minutes, these T20s are a bit flat.
Well,
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Well, I think there is an issue here. Is if you win a toss bowl, and then it's an easy chase because of the conditions, then you've got an issue in the game because it's not really fair. Then is it? If it because then it does just rely on the toss.
Well, it's also something that's going to have to be looked at before
the
the
World
World
Cup.
T20, isn't it?
Unless they play all the games during the day, which they really don't want to do.
Well, they won't, will they?
It'll be fine.
Although
for us here.
we don't know what's going to happen with regards to crowds, and that's a long way off, or it's 6 or 7 months away now. I'm looking forward to that, actually.
Yeah,
it could be absolutely brilliant winter's cricket, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Chahal is back into the attack, 34 off 3, but he's going to get to bowl his 4th over. This is swept from a line of just outside leg stump, looking for it to turn across Bairstow, but he meets that neatly, and picks up another single. His job is just to give the strike to Butler, really.
Yeah, it is for the time being. That's exactly what Darryl Malan's job was as well.
And run like stink.
Run like stink, which they've been doing quite well.
Well, Bairstow's a better runner, I think, than Darryl Malan. Darryl Malan sometimes forgets that that's part of his job, I reckon. But
yep,
these two have battered a lot together, and
Bairstow is brilliant between the wickets.
Yeah.
He really is one of the best.
And Butler's happy to go along with him as well. So
in comes Chahal. He brings out the reverse sweep, plays it with the spin all the way along the ground, well stopped by Sundar, I think it is, running around slightly to his left at backward point, but they get through for a single. England move to 122 for 2, 35 more to win, and we're looking at Chahal's economy in different periods of the game, but unfortunately I can't bring you any info on that because it's gone off almost as quickly as it came up. Chahal is in again, and he tries to play the reverse sweep from way outside leg stump, which wasn't the wisest things to do, and he's beaten. He just misses it, basically. It's well taken by Punt down the leg side. 35 to win off 33 balls.
Was that taken as a wide? I didn't see a wide signal.
I didn't. Good point. A little paddle sweep, this one, up in the air, but there's no one there to catch it inside the circle. It means that Bhuvi Kumar will come around from deep square leg, and they take another single, 123 for 2. 2 balls remaining in the over, and
Let's
the
run a
equation
ball
is
now,
34 off 32.
yeah, exactly.
Should be really plain sailing.
Yeah, it should be a walk in the park.
Should be. You never can tell, though. It's unpredictable, is cricket. Chahal in, bowls, that's very wide, and Butler did well to reach it, trying to play the cut shot in the end. Didn't really hit it cleanly, but he's hurried back for 2. That's fantastic running. And England move to 125 for 2. Butler moves to 76. Now, Butler has never scored a T20 100. Am I going to commentators curse him by saying there's a chance for one here? He needs 24 of the remaining 32 runs to get there. He's on 76 from 45.
Could do that in an over.
I beg your pardon?
He could do that in an over.
Well, he could if he was called Kieran Pollard. He's going to play the reverse sweep in the air. Oh, was that put down? I think it was. Is that Rohit Sharma diving to his right there, or was it Kohli himself?
Skipper. I think it's the skipper. Kohli has dropped the game.
He has. It's Kohli. And well, Butler played one of those shots really well earlier. This time, it went much nearer the fielder. It was in the air. It went a little bit squarer. He struck it well enough, and Kohli should have held that. Really,
yeah, he should have done.
That's, sort of diving forward a little bit, but that one has escaped him, and Chahal stands there with hands on head. Not easy to say to the captain, you bloody idiot, but you felt that maybe that was going through his head. End of the over, 127 for 2. At the same point, India were 88 for 5. 88 for 5. So that shows you what Kohli did in the in those final 5 overs.
Hombre Nuevo, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Ask the question. Afternoon, fantastic girls. Are there super overs in this series? If so, do they count in the GPL? The answer is yes, there are, and no, they don't.
Yes, they are, and yes, they are. I'm going to say we make the rules, so I think for the
super overs in the GPL? You mean?
Yeah. It's total runs in a day.
I don't know what happens with it. I've never really thought of that.
The GPL is total runs in a game, days play.
Okay, flat, horrible from Sundar. Bairstow tries to sweep, but misses it. It plops up off his pad into the offside. There is no run.
Unlike the bookies.
So, yeah. So if this was if it's a tie, so you can't win with 312 effectively, because that would mean there would be a super over. So 312 is unwinnable.
Yeah.
Unless you've also got whatever they get in the super overs. Pulled by Bairstow out to Shreyas Iyer at deep mid wicket, and they come through for another single. He goes to 15 from 16. England now need 29, of which Buttler needs to score 26 to get the first T20 international 100. Or is it 25? It maybe is what he needs to get now. And Washington Sundar is in again, bowls. He's on 78 in fact, so it's 22. He's pushed that out into the offside, backward a square. They'll hurry through for 1. They won't get back for a second. Butler moves to 79. England to 129 for 2. And we look at the... it's a rather bulky trophy for this tournament, isn't it? A tournament or
I've got to say, it looks exactly the same as the trophy for the Test series.
It does, but it's none the worse for that, because that was quite a good trophy.
Yeah, it's just big. I like a big trophy.
It's chunky, isn't it? It's not too tall. It's not too thin and tall, like they have for what used to be the Stella Artois at Queen's Club in the tennis. This is pushed up to long on by Bairstow. More or less can walk that single.
You see, I like a big trophy.
Start attacking.
The old
taking wickets, I think, soon.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
That's the only way to win. I like the. Is it the Champions League trophy that's that huge big thing, or is that the UEFA Cup?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Where's the mace? Where's the mace gone? That's pulled down by Sundar, pulled also by Buttler, but straight to mid wicket. Gets away with one there a little bit.
Oh,
and this partnership now just 1 run short of 50.
There was that story we did about was it Bangladesh with a bloody big sword, sort of jeweled sword.
Yes, yeah, there was some
great.
Tremendous trophies out there. England 130 for 2. Washington Sundar in again, tickled away into the onside. Now Butler's thinking he might get a second here, and I think he could. He's going to risk it, and he's going to get back quite comfortably. And that's brilliant placement from Buttler. Means Bairstow will have the strike though. Butler's on 81 from 49. Bairstow is on 16 from 17. Virat Kohli is very upset with things, and England need 25 to win from 4.
Warren says the wide calling has been dubious. Cantagraphy must talking about our commentary. Says there must be your commentary then, but don't know what that was in reference to. Spicy Golden Duck is with us. He says, "Good afternoon, gorillas. I'm hoping you're enjoying your commentary, but my very cosy GC hoodie. A glass of beer to your good health."
Excellent.
Well, of course,
it's good to sell a hoodie because they're quite expensive.
They are. But you would have seen.
They're not cheap.
Did you see the design I put up on Sunday? That wonderful design by Hombre Nuevo, who's been doing things for us recently. The Ichni Sanshi.
Hombre, if you're listening, can you do a Universe Joss one, please? Because I think that'll be a massive seller. Because I'll have at least one. Annie will have one. Grubby will have one. They might even buy several for their whole families, which would be brilliant. So Universe Joss, that is your next. Project to work on. Not sure how good you are at portraits of individual cricketers.
Yeah, he's pretty
anyway,
good.
Thakur is coming back into the attack. 2 overs for 19, and he's going to be bowling to Johnny Bairstow. He's in short. He gets the top edge as he tries to pull that into the onside. Flies away over where first or second slip would have been, down to the boundary for 4. It's pretty much done and dusted.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, boom!
So what Messages has got 313, hasn't he?
Yeah. So basically we need England to win by more than 1 run.
Yeah, effectively.
Effectively. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
We're the house. I'm sorry, Messi. We're the house. So you know.
Yeah, I think that's spoiled Butler, more or less spoiled Butler's chances of getting 100. Now it's gone way up in the air. Where's that gone down? It's been terribly fielded by the man running in from third man.
Chahal.
It's that poor old Chahal.
It is.
It went miles up. Chahal came running in. He put in the dive, couldn't get there. They've got back for a couple. Virat Kohli is kind of resigned to defeat today, I think. He sort of turns away and scratches his ear. It's a clever piece of bowling. He does bowl nicely at the end of the innings, does Thakur. It was a horrible shot from Johnny Bairstow, really. I'm not sure where he was hoping to hit that. And Chahal just can't stretch enough to grab it as he comes in. It's not been a great day for him. Gone for a few runs. 19 required. And Butler needs 19. Oh, no, very cleverly bowled by Thakur. Completely did Johnny Bairstow with the pace of that one. It was a short one and a slow one, and he had to wait an age to be able to, in the end, just turn it into the onside, a rather cross-batted fashion. He has got through for one, so Butler can still get there, but he might need to hit 6 to win it and to get there. So it's looking very depressing for India at the moment. And it does mean that at least we don't have that situation where England, having won the first match of a series, plummet to disaster subsequently. Because it looks like they're going to take a 2-1 lead in this T20 matchup. Here is Thakur again into Butler. Butler tries to force off the back foot, doesn't really time it. But in doing so, the ball runs so slowly to Virat at extra cover that he will be able to come through for the single. He moves to 82 from 50 deliveries. England 140 for 2. Men of the match. I mean, Kohli's innings was superb. Butler's done well. It'll probably go to Butler, won't it? If he remains not out, especially. But I've got a feeling that I'd give it to Mark Wood. I know he got maltreated by Kohli in his final over, but I thought he bowled really well today.
He did bowl really well, but it's
the kind of thing that gets forgotten, though, isn't it? When someone gets a big score. They're coming through for a single, are they? I'm not quite sure. Camera work is a bit indeterminate. Kohli certainly fielded the ball and then swiveled, tried to throw to the non-striker's end. And in the end, I don't think they did go for the run. So England remain 140 for 2. And Johnny Bairstow has brought up 1,000 T20 international runs. Johnny Bairstow, 1,001 is his total at the moment. 1 ball remaining in the 17th over. And England needs 17 more to win. Kohli is delaying things while he goes and talks to someone about the field. Owen Morgan is looking very relaxed. He's thinking to himself, I may not be needed today. He's quite happy with that.
Is he in next then Stokes, or is it Stokes then him? Him then Stokes, isn't it?
It'll be Morgan and then Stokes, yeah. It kind of feels like a waste of Stokes to have him at 6.
Well,
really, unless you lose early wickets. I mean, he's a man who's capable of scoring T20 hundreds. I know he hasn't done it at international level, but he's done it a couple of times in the IPL. Here is Thakur again, wide outside the off stump, but it comes back at him. It's a quick off break, really. It's cut into the offside by Bairstow, who runs through for the single, and that is the end of the over. More tweets.
Farong just mentioning that squeaky bum time for messages on the GPL. Contacracy contentiously says, it doesn't matter about the Jew. If India get to the semi or final on flat competitive wickets, I think they're talking about the T20 World Cup.
Yeah,
they'll soon be changed to raging turners, and they won't. Look at that. Especially seeing as a test wicket was marked as average. Messages says the dogs are nervous. Muttley says, woof, just finished a lengthy online meeting just in time to see what looks like an England win.
Yes, it does look very much like that. 3 overs to go. England need 16 more to take a 2-1 lead in the 5-match series. Games to come on Thursday and Saturday as well. Then we've got, of course, 3 ODIs. The teams moved to Pune for the one-day internationals, which start at 8 o'clock in the morning British time. And I think one of them, the final one, starts at 9 o'clock because it's daylight saving.
Oh yeah,
whatever's
nice.
the alternative The opposite of that is. In comes Bhuvi Kumar. He's back into the attack. It's pushed into the onside by Bairstow. He fancies 2 here up to long on. And as Raul comes in, he's going to get it comfortably. Raul is now wearing 3 hats. 3 hats, Raul. That's all he's done. He's got more hats than runs in this series. 3 hats, 1 run. And England moved to 143 for 2. Bairstow 26 from 23. Joss Buttler 82 from 50. And Bairstow's back to face. Men out at long off and long on. We've got a backward point. We've got a short third man, a backward point, an extra cover on the offside. Kohli wants to make a change, but it's going to make little difference, I would say. 14 runs required for 17 balls. And England are going to go 2-1 up. Here comes Bhuvi Kumar into Johnny Bairstow. He wants to play the ramp shot. He's played it. He's played it well. He's fallen over, but he's picked up 4 runs. Excellent work from Johnny Bairstow. Total commitment to the cause, and 4 more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
See, Johnny Bairstow's thinking to himself, that was a knuckleball as well, but he must have read it, or more likely he'd premeditated. It's a horrible looking shot in some respects because he overbalances onto his back as he plays it. But,
gets it where he wants it though.
Incredibly difficult to play.
Yeah.
And he's done it really well. Bairstow on to 30. He's going to deny Joss Buttler a first T20 International 100 as Bhuvi is in again, short and heaved off the back foot up to long on. This one will go quickly enough that they'll only have time to get 1. Bairstow to 31. England to 148 for 2. 9 required from 15 balls. And the England camp looks very satisfied with their day's work. But we will have to keep an eye on that regarding tosses. I can't see too many teams winning the toss and batting in the rest of this series.
But that's what I mean. Then it makes an uneven contest, though. I mean, if you don't think the conditions are ever going to be right for batting first, then it's just a win the toss and win, isn't it? I mean, well,
it makes you think. If that's when these matches are going to be played in India in the tournament proper, as Bhuvi is in again, this is nicely guided, beautiful timing from Buttler out to deep point. They'll take a single, 149 for 2. Do the ICC have to act and say you bat once, you bat twice, and I don't know. I can't remember how the groups will be divided. But do you bat twice and field twice? Do they have to bring something in like that?
Well, they might have to think about it, because if it is, you can't have a tournament like that, because the final, I mean, it would depend. Different grounds will be different. Remember, I mean, this is Ahmedabad, and these 5 games are all being played at Ahmedabad.
Yeah,
and it may be that Ahmedabad, the conditions are particularly in such a way that the due affects.
Kumar in Bairstow pulls it away to deep square leg. Takes another single. England's 150 is up, 150 for 2. Buttler has 83, Bairstow 32. 7 runs required with 1 ball and then 2 overs remaining.
Because I mean, we've watched the IPL and there's lots of times teams have managed to contain sides bowling in the second innings in the IPL. So it can't be at all grounds that it's like this, but maybe it's the ones where the due are. And Ahmedabad is in the World Cup, isn't it?
I'm not sure. Probably. This is just played back to the bowler, and then he underarms it towards Buttler, who kicks it away. That is the end of the 18th over. England 150 for 2. They need 7 more to win. More tweets.
Let's see. Warren says, the boring last overs. Is it the toss or the fact that the bear is on commentary?
Could be both.
Hombre Nuevo says the universe Joss is on its way.
Yeah, can't wait for that. That'll be great.
And then a couple of tweets by people about the toss. It says, Josh Huber says Morgan should get man of the match for winning the toss.
Yeah.
And Messages also says the way the series is going, they may as well just give the game to whoever wins the toss.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's down to sort of contracts with broadcasters and things. Is there any prospect of the remaining 2 games being brought forward in terms of time, especially if you've not actually got spectators?
Well, they're doing
at the ground.
They're doing it for TV and everything as well, aren't they? I mean, it's evening time in India.
Yeah,
and
I suppose that's the main.
As late as they can get it in England, So.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see if all of these games end up being won by the team that's won the toss. And we will have to think about that. Thacker will come in to bowl to Johnny Bairstow. Johnny Bairstow smacks this from way outside off stump. He's found an area out towards cow corner where no one is patrolling, and that is a wonderful 4 runs.
Number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
Now we're at an interesting time here, because if we win with a 4 now, obviously England get 158, and Messi Jez loses by 1 run. If we finish
very
with
exciting. The dogs are nervous.
A 4 or a 6.
The dogs are very nervous.
A 4 or a 6, and there is no winner on GPL. A 3, and they win.
Right, let's see what happens. Thacker bowls another short one, and he lifts this up and over. Backward point. There's no one there. It's going to go for 4. Messi Jez misses out. The dogs are even more frightened than they were. England finish on 158 for 2 with 10 balls left. Bairstow ends up on 40. Joss Butler on 83, I think it is. England win by 8 wickets and take a 2-1 lead. Well, where do we go with this then, chaps? So we kind of discussed most of the serious points to be made. We've gone over them, and it does seem to be about winning the toss, fielding, and then knocking them off.
Well, then the obvious thing is, if this is going to be the case and it's the World Cup, you've got to try and think of strategies where you can bowl with a wet ball and what's going to work, basically, and therefore how you can restrict the opposition if you've got a wet ball and certain. I mean, if the ball is wet, certain things are out of your control, or certain things aren't. For example, your spinners aren't going to be able to get a lot of grip. It's going to be harder to bowl. It's going to slip out the bowler's hand. So, what sort of balls can you bowl that you think you can get control of with the hand that are going to cause the batsman trouble?
And the other thing I suppose to bear in mind is, with 2 games to go in this series, do you concentrate, now England are 2-1 up, do you concentrate on trying to win this series, or do you, in that situation, if you think that the toss is going to be so important, do you put pressure upon yourself if by winning the toss you bat, so that you can test yourself in those conditions?
Well, that would be the obvious thing to do, but I think first of all they want to win the series. So if they get the opposition, and if Morgan won the next 2 games, I imagine the next game he would do exactly what he's done here, and he will bowl first and bat second, put the series to bed if we think this is how it's going to play out, and he'll be 3-1 up with 1 to play. And then if he wins the toss in the last test, he might go, right guys, we're going to try and win this bowling second.
Yeah, presumably you've got to the point of these games, beyond it being a bilateral series, is the fact that you want to test yourself in those conditions that you may struggle in, so that if you get to a point in the tournament proper, that you have the sort of confidence of, or I suppose you could argue that if they don't succeed, that they would have the memory of failing. But you try to give yourself confidence in all sorts of situations.
Absolutely. Well, again, as I said, I mean, not all games in the World Cup are going to be played at this ground. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what grounds they use. And looking at this, they might try and find grounds that aren't so affected by dew, So imagine if it's really light dew and it's occasional, but if it's every night at a period of time when the World Cup... I mean, it also depends on the time of year, I guess, because dew is it's a differentiation between temperature at day and night, and if it's dropping massively, then that's when the air condenses, right? So if in November they don't get so much dew, it might not be such an issue.
The Bears doing meteorology for you today, which is wonderful to hear. I don't know. We need someone who's an expert on those sort of conditions in different places at different times of the year to know that. Roy made 9, caught Rohit bowled Chahal, trying to reverse sweep. Milan stumped punt bowled Sundar. He came down the wicket to one that turned. He made 18 off 17. Wonderful knock from Joss Butler from the outset. He went after Chahal especially. Remained 83 not out from how many deliveries was it in the end? Not that many. 52 I think it was. And Johnny Bairstow, who seemed to speed up deliberately to prevent Joss from getting his first T20 100, finished on 40 not out from 28, 5 fours for him, 5 fours and 4 sixes for Joss Butler. The bowling from India doesn't look that impressive. Bhuvi Kumar did a reasonable job, got it to swing to start with, 4 overs, no maidens, none for 27. Shardul Thacker was too expensive early on, although he does have those delicious variations, especially when he comes on at the end. 3.2 overs, no maidens, none for 36. Yuzendra Chahal was targeted, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 41. Hardik Pandya, 3 overs, no maidens, none for 22. Washington Thunder, economical again, decent job done by him, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 26. 315 runs scored in the day. No one on the GPL had that. Poor old Messages is upset. We'll find out how upset he is by asking Jason to read us some final tweets.
Messages, well, he says fuckity fuck fuck fuck, so I imagine that's what he thinks of it.
That's pretty succinct, isn't it?
Anna Forsyth says the story of the day isn't Cody's acceleration, or Joss's not. Johnny being selfish to deny Joss's ton.
Well, you've got to win the game, haven't you? You've got to win the game. You don't worry about personal milestones. I'm sure that's what they'll say in the press conference if that question is asked. Any more tweets, or is that more or less it?
Oh no, I've got more tweets.
Okay.
Motley says, thanks for that, folks, even if it was only here for 5 minutes. Love and sausages. Woof.
Woof.
And Mark Sip says, the answer for the spinners in this due debate is to have very thin hydrophobic gloves.
Hydrophobic
gloves,
and I think
repel water.
And I think you've also got your wish on the man of the match, because if I'm not wrong, I think they've given it to Mark Wood.
Excellent. That is quite right. Bowled really well. And too often, I think, in these games, you look at the batsman and you look at an impressive score and you give it to the batsman. But really, it was the early work that Wood and Archer in particular did, bowling with raw pace and bounce and tremendous stuff. I think. That's it then, I think, more or less.
Well, I'll just give you his last message for Dev, who says he's loving the Ich Nissan She t-shirt design. It is fantastic. And he'll be scrabbling under the sofa cushions to make a purchase soon. And I think you all should.
I've got a few other things on YouTube, which we'll go through. Dara Azizi says, Butler is more destructive than Kohli. Brian McKinnon says, Butler has been great. Daniel Capel says, not just the average Bairstow.
Nope.
Brilliant win. England won by the same number of wickets as in the first T20 by George McPherson. And that's all the things from YouTube. A couple of shout outs on Facebook. Cricket Tracker, Sai Churi, Zanab Petiwala, Bipin Rajput, Taran Sharma, Miwai Snori, and Karpesh Gadiga Onkar. Thank you very much for coming and watching and listening to us.
Absolutely, we'll be back on Thursday. Just one final tweet I've just seen at the top. I'll save you going back to them, Jason. Ian Barker says, back-to-back misses on the GPL by 2 runs. Woe is me. Well, keep trying, because we often see Messi miss out, but he has had some spectacular wins.
He has indeed. And what I will say is this is it's good that increasing the time has made it more competitive. I think. I mean, it was that we gave you the power play essentially to guess how many runs were going to be scored, and that's probably not the best way to go. So we're giving you 50 minutes now. It allows you to get a better handle on the score, which is good.
Yeah, another reason why more of you, I say, should enter the GPL.
Indeed.
It helps Guerrilla Cricket, helps us with costs and all sorts of things. And as we try to expand our offering in terms of what's on the website, any money that you can find, whether you want to do it through buying merchandise, donating or playing GPL, or even donating to Patreon. Patreon.com/Guerrilla Cricket would be gratefully received. That's it from us for today. Hope you've enjoyed the show and the cricket. We return at the same time on Thursday. There's another match to come on Saturday. I won't be here, but I think you've got Tony in the chair on Thursday. You've got Knackle in the chair on Saturday. I will return for the one-day internationals. So with that in mind, it's goodbye from all of us at Guerrilla Cricket tonight. Goodbye from the Bear.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Jason.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Tony.
He's not here.
He's not here. And it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara.